Yeah. Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to WOR Legacy Division. We are here tonight for round number 2 of season number 5. We take in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. My name is James Head. Jota alongside me in the commentary box this evening. And Jota, well, Monaco was something. Flopman ended up winning by 25.5 seconds, pretty much, over the current PSF1 champion, Luke Rapata there in second. Flopman's victory was definitely well-deserved. TTM of the 1-3 as well. They lead the standings coming into tonight.
Yeah, hello everyone. It's going to be an interesting one indeed. We're moving from Monaco straight to the end of the season for most leagues. Not this one though. It's round 2 in Abu Dhabi. Should make for an interesting spectacle actually, because a lot of the drivers were not particularly happy with what they experienced at Monaco. But now we're at a circuit where racing certainly is possible. So let's see what they've got in mind.
Let's see what they've got in mind, indeed. Let's have a look through the race results first before we get into the on-track action. There are plenty of qualifying bands to talk through as well, so we'll get to that in due course. But Flopman did end up taking the race win by 25 seconds out on track from Luke Rapata in second. Allison there in third. They kept the 1-3 as well. They lead the standings coming into tonight, as we've already alluded to. John Murphy in fourth, Fraser in fifth, and Tootie in sixth. About the first time I think I've ever seen the top 6 be on the lead lap, and then everybody else getting lapped by Flopman, which was absolutely incredible to watch out for. What did that do to the championship standings? I hear you cry out. Top Tier Motorsport lead the way on 67 points. Definitely didn't think they'd be up there, to be honest, for my round 1 predictions. Team Chazoo in second on 33 points. CPI in third on 26. Bunga Racing Team and Tatum Racing Team, TRT, of course, they're in fourth, tied on 22 points. Bunga Racing Team, though, with the better positioning, that's why they're fourth. Team TF10 and 6th on 16, then ET8 in 7th on 10, Novus Racing in 8th on 8, and then Project Avicio Racing, bit of a mouthful to say there, down in 9th position. EVE to you and me, down on 2 points. Then FRT, kind of belonging at the bottom where they deserve to be from Season 3. Future Racing Team having a bad result. They didn't end up scoring any points last week in Monaco. But what will they do here tonight coming into Abu Dhabi? It's going to be a really interesting race, I think.
Quite, actually. A bit disappointing with FRT. They are the 10th seeded team that made it through into this championship. Of course, if you're wondering, all of the teams, where are their constructors' cars? Well, in this scenario, of course, all of the drivers are not racing in the typical constructors' vehicles. Reason why, of course, I think should be a given at this point with F124. There is certainly a disparity in the ability of these cars, despite the fact it says it's equal. It probably isn't. So everyone has been slapped in exactly the same car, but they'll be given, of course, a livery that looks similar to what we would expect in the real world. But out there at the moment, FRT, of course, are off of the back of a really bad performance in Monaco, but they've fielded Dan tonight, so we are expecting at least potentially a charge for some points. He's now just heading through turn 1 on the intermediate tyre.
Yeah, Gakowski is the first out on track, but everyone's on a set of inters, by the way, so you're not really going to miss much, I think, out on track. What we can do, though, is run through, before we go out on track, who is going to be in which team here tonight and in which car. Furious and Colours, normally in the Red Bull, of course, for TTM. They are representing the top-tier motorsport team, looking to try and get another 1-3 tonight. Bell Belby, former TF10 driver, has got a qualifying ban alongside Finley. That was for a late submission lineup, I believe, for EVE. Tootie and Brando there for TRT. Very strong lineup, I've got to say, for TRT tonight. Gatkowski and Jeslar. That's not Zeslar, by the way. It is Jeslar there for CPI in the McLarens. Matteo and Owen. Matteo's already going on about whether he can go on EAFC in the Discord. He's alongside Owen and for ET8 in normally the Aston Martins. Luke Rapata's got a 5 position penalty or 5 second penalty, I think, for Luke Rapata after his incident late on in the race there in Monaco last week. He's alongside Tom. Dan and Sam are in the Williams for FRT, of course. Sam's got a 3-second penalty as well. Brienne and Barak are in for Team TF10. Justin and Tech are in for BRT. And then Gabor and Bowman. That is a very good lineup for NVR. Watch out for them out on track. And speaking of out on track, Gakowski, as soon as I've waffled on, we've just missed the entirety of his lap time. He does go quickest for now, but Dan now goes quicker, the 25.7. As I say, everyone's on a set of inters, so this is traditionally now where we can relax and just enjoy ourselves for at least the first part of Q1.
Yeah, of course, driver's not going to be burning any sets of tyres initially around here as well. Of course, it's unlikely we're going to be experiencing any rainfall around here tonight. in the middle of the desert. It might be possible, but unlikely to say the least. Brando coming across the line, TRT man, the Italian outfit with a 125.896. Big tank slapper, of course, on there as well. Just keeping a firm eye. We've got Jezlar just leaving the pit lane there for CPI. TF10's Rayan looking to just finish his lap. He's now currently in the third sector.
He is in the third sector indeed. He's now coming through the left-hander of turn 13, through the left-hander turn number 14, Lafiti corner, as I'm going to call it, or Latifi corner, I should say, coming through turn 14, now through the right-hander 15, then in towards Rayan, in towards turn 16 for Rayan, on the run to line, will get my words out eventually, 25.713 goals behind Furious. So, Justin out on top, Tech there in second, BRT. BRT 1-2 early on, but I may stress, and I will stress this throughout this entirety of the session, it is currently intermediate condition tyres that these guys are on out on track. As you can see, the track is absolutely bone dry, so do not take these lap times and this pace from everyone very literally indeed. We have got drivers selected on a set of soft compound tyres. Liam Bowman, Gabor, both MVR drivers along with Tudi. They've already selected their tyres. They're going to be coming out the pit lane probably around about halfway through the session, so we'll watch out for them. NVR, I think, have got a very strong lineup tonight. They've got Liam Bowman, who has been, of course, masquerading himself on PC as well as Xbox recently. And also, they've got Gabor, who is a really consistent WOR console Tier 1 driver at the end of the day as well. So NVR, I am looking to try and do maybe a TTM from last week, have a 1-3, maybe even a 1-2. Pressure's on for NVR, I think, from not only my predictions, but I'm sure the predictions of you guys in the chat as well.
Yeah, just on the back of actually the conversation you've just said there surrounding the lap times, the bottom line is that we shouldn't expect too much from the lap times from these intermediate tyres. But if you do want to make a sort of minor note, 0.3 of a second separating Tech from Lucas, the Team Shazoo driver, but BRT leading the way with a 1-2 and separated by around about 4 tenths of a second. I put BRT is second overall in the championship at the end of the 24 rounds that we've got in WR Legacy Division. And, as I said, plenty of qualifying to go with plenty of actual tyres to use. But are BRT beginning to cook a little bit with around about 3 tenths separating them from the rest of the field?
Yeah, definitely looking good right now. Justin Tech, of course, Justin formerly, I believe, part of another team that escapes my mind right now in WR Legacy Division in the past. Justin, though, out on top, Tech in second, Luke Rapata in third. Everyone that's selecting their set of soft compound and tyres. Jezlar, by the way, is on lap now, coming through Latifi corner at turn number 14. Then into the double right of turn 15 and 16 around here in Abu Dhabi. Of course, more left-handed corners than right-handed corners around the track. I think it's 9 to the right and 6 to the left. Something like that. Jezlar though goes third, right in between Tech and Tech and Luke Rapata even. Luke Rapata, of course, crown for provisionally, I may add provisionally, the PSGL, PSF1 champion last night. Congratulations on Luke Rapata. We interviewed him last night, of course, myself and Evan Dalton on that live stream. And it was a really, really good interview, I think, because how he has transformed himself throughout this entirety of the season and on this game cycle has been nothing short of extraordinary. We've got him here tonight. He is one of the rising stars, if not the rising star right now on console. So Luke Rapata, we are expecting him potentially to do well, not only now because he's got a championship on his shoulders.
Yeah, there's obviously a lot of pressure on him in those particular championships. This one, though, just getting started. It's all about the teams and where they can go. Jezlar, by the way, with that 25.328, puts him closest to the 2 BRT men. However, soft tyre runners are now on their way through Sector 1. Tech has just gone through Turn 1, in fact, on a fresh set of soft tyres, as it looks like a bunch of people just leaving the pit lane. Hopefully not going to cause too much of an issue for them. Of course, remember, these guys are fully ghosted to avoid the effect of dirty air as well as the tow. Going through then onto the main straight is Tech, looking to try and set at least an early precedent. BRT, off of the back of what was not a bad performance from BRT, but an unfortunate puncture towards the end of the race for one of their drivers, saw them fall down to the other end of the field, then going through the chicane and then powering it through the DRS straight. There's the detection point, there's the opening of the DRS, and using an overtake down the straight as well, actually. So Tech prioritising the first and second sectors for all of the power, but he's going to start hemorrhaging time where his ERS is below around about 20%. Heading then into the underneath section of the third sector. Of course, the infamous Latifi corner, as you rightfully mentioned, is upcoming here. Recently opened up as well, of course, this corner. It was a lot tighter at one point, but a lot more open now. A little bit of a loose rear end going through there. Keep the power planted through the right-hander. Brake and put it down into fourth gear, and then power it down towards the line. Tech immediately setting a 121.9.
Yeah, very nice lap time actually from him. Gabor 2D, I think, are just setting up through the first sector. 17.3 from Gabor in the first sector. 2D just in behind. Didn't catch his first sector, but he is just behind him out on track. With a lot of haze actually coming through the left-hander now. Turn number 4 running down the hill. Now in towards turn number 6 and 7. The chicane, of course, coming through the middle part of the lap. And Gabor rides on the outside curve. Nearly goes a little bit too deep actually into the chicane. Now down the old GP2 pit straight through the left-hander now. Turn number 8 before we embark on the much tighter turn number 9. The hairpin, of course, used to be a chicane back in the day in the mid-2010s, but Gabor 52.2, I think matching Tech actually in that middle sector. So the MVR man looking pretty good. Barak is starting up on the lap. Liam Bowman's starting up on the lap. Sam's starting up on the lap as well, along with Justin. So they're the next to come across the line. But Gabor looking really good now. Comes now through the right-hander turn number 12. Now through the left-hander 13. Through the left-hander 14, cost squirreling out slightly there through 13, now through 14, and then into the double rights now of turns 15 and 16. This is, look, a very contested lap from Gabor. Whether or not he's going to match Tech, though, with this lap time remains to be seen. On the run line, he betters him by a tenth of a second. So good lap from him. 2D, I think, is slightly down. So he might go into third. He does go into third. 22 flat. He was 2 tenths down. Gabor through that middle sector. I believe we've got Barak next on the lap and Liam Bowman coming through the middle sector split. Liam Bowman's middle sector, 52.3. So a tenth down on Gabor in that middle sector.
Justin not confident though as he's heading through the third sector. Second to last corner, then the final corner as he powers towards the line right now. Powers very early on the brakes, loses the rear ever so slightly, comes across the line, only 5th fastest with a 20.21 of his own and 0.05 of a second, half a tenth exactly slower than Brando. Thomas Covers coming across the line to go 4th fastest for TTM, beating Furious by a considerable margin. But FRT Dan, once again, I did say about him, FRT, so happy to have Dan in their ranks, going 2nd fastest with a 21.8.
And Baraka's back up to 5th position as well. 6,000's clear Liam Bowman. 5,000's clear Thomas Covers. So very, very close, actually, between those guys. Race winner last night in Qatar. Tom Roberts is on the run now down in towards turn number 5 and 6 at the chicane. And we'll see what Tom can do coming through this middle sector split. He was very lucky, I've got to be honest, last night with that incident that we had between Mateo, between Luke Rapata, and between Cameron Dowd going into turn 6 in Qatar. Tom Roberts, though, is on the absolute crest of a wave right now. The experience is going to be coming into play. And his middle sector, 52.3, exactly where Liam Bowman was, I think, on his lap time. Barak on his lap time as well. So Tom Roberts looking pretty good. Remember, we have got 4 qualifying bands. So Belby, 2D, Owen and Mateo are already at the session. Tom Roberts currently is provisionally at the session. But Zinita gets blocked there in towards turn number 13. We're only going to lose one driver down in 16th position from that person, and currently that looks like it's going to be Ryan right down at the bottom end of the field. But Tom Roberts now through the final corner, experience now, telling to play, coming to the line, goes 4th. Good lap time there by Tom. Gabor from Dan from Tech, the top 3, and look at that, we are back to pretty much how it usually is in Legacy Division. I think we've got 6 teams filling up the first 6 places.
Yeah, typical that of
7 now.
Make it 7 as Jeslar, comes across the line for CPI. The Cedar Phoenix Igniters actually igniting their season quite well at the moment. I've underestimated their performances throughout this particular season as Rayan goes from bottom to top with a 21.7. Here comes Luca Rapasa, only 12 fastest for Team Shazoo. So Shazoo are under a little bit of pressure for Q2 here with Luca. He's got more, needs to find more pace, but as it stands so far, FRT are going to find themselves the only team knocked out of qualifying, as the other ones, of course, are serving their qualifying ban.
Yeah, definitely so. FLT Sam, they're currently down in the doldrums, in the danger zone right now. 2 tenths per second actually behind Gatkowski. Gatkowski's a 10th behind Furious as well. For P14 and 15 right now. So the CPI man will be absolutely hanging on tenterhooks, as will the FRT man there in 16th. So it is going to be really close. Gabor feels like he's done enough. I certainly feel he's done enough as well. He is there down in 2nd position, down there in 3rd, Tech there in 4th position. Dylan Ray, by the way, in the chat, up the NLR. Sadly, NLR are not here. But if you do want a word from our sponsors, Next Level Racing, you will be getting that, of course, in the intermission. Ryan, no, out on top. Gabor in second, Dan there in third. Definitely smooth, I've got to say, for me. There, Luke Rapata down in 12th position. Bit of a shock, because he was, of course, crowned champion last night in PSGL. He's there down in 12th position. Hasn't liked this track in the past, I don't believe, so he is a little bit down on where he is. Compared to his teammate, though, Tom Roberts, he's, what, a 10th and a half behind Tom? So there is still a bit of improvement, I think, to come, even from these guys on the 22 flat. So if I'm the likes of Tom, Tootie, Barack, Lee and Bowman, I'd be going out there for another lap just to ensure that I'm going to be safe, because you never know with Gakowski and Sam how they can improve when they head on and you set us off compound tyres.
Yeah, Justin's the one who's disappointed me the most at the moment as well, actually, because the BRT man's got more pace than him than a 22-1, but he finds himself stuck in a pit of around 3 people in the 22-1s, and actually a very, very large group of people of about looks like about 6 or 7 people actually within a tenth of each other between the 22-0 and the 22-1s. So Justin's got to find, he can find half a tenth and he can almost find himself up 3 positions. So got to be critical here. They've got to find a lot more pace. And I think there's going to be a lot of people who are actually going to find themselves leaving the pit lane here. And those are in the 22-0s, Tom Roberts and Judy, deciding to retire out of this session. I'm not so sure that was a good idea, because if Barack finds, what, half a tenth, he's going to end up above the pair of them, and there's definitely a lot of time out there at the moment. Like Luca, he definitely has got more pace in the third sector. It looks like he lost the rear ever so slightly going through the final corner. That might be worth a tenth, maybe 2. So I wouldn't bet on Tootie being 100% safe, you know.
The thing is that an advantage Tom Roberts and Tootie more, though, is the nature to invalidate on your final run. We saw that last season in Legacy Division around here. We saw that in previous seasons of Legacy Division around here, where drivers tend to invalidate on their later runs in the later stages of the qualifying. So that might come into Tom Roberts and Tootie's perspective. Whether or not, though, Furious and the likes can do. I mean, Brando thinks he's safe. 22.1. Liam Bowman thinks he's safe. 22 flat. Unless we're seeing something that they're not, Barack retiring from the session as well. There's no rain or anything out on track. Furious is going to be the first man out on track, though. We'll be watching this with absolute intent. Down in 14th position. Nathan Richards, by the way, in the chat. WOR PCT, a one commentator, of course, these days in WOR. He's saying Owen down in P19. Yeah, both ET8 drivers have qualifying bans, as do both EVE drivers. If you're wondering why they are out the session, they both have qualifying bans, which is why Owen gets the SMH there in the chat from Nathan Richards. Furious now into the first sector. 300's down through the first sector, so Furious not happy with that first sector as he now comes in towards turn 5.
Yeah, infuriating for Furious at the moment, actually, because there's definitely more pace to be found from the TTM man as well. Remember, off the back of what is a magnificent performance from the championship leaders in this World Online Racing Legacy Division. You know, 10th and 14th is not a good showing Q1. They need to find more pace than that. Thomas Covers, you'd expect to be within the sort of 21.9, 22.0 region perhaps, but Furious, come on, man. You've got more pace in you than that one. And he's found 35 thousandths of a second in the second sector. But that first sector may come to haunt him, you know, but he's going to keep going on. And in fact, he's trying to use as much of his ER as possible, down to 10%. Going underneath the tunnel here. He's going to be under a little bit of pressure, actually, I suspect, is Furious. As he's going across the couple of left-handers through Latifi and then into the final couple of corners for Furious. And him expecting here maybe a 21.9. I'm hoping a 21.9, maybe a 21.8. We'll see as he comes across the line. Oh, very well taken. He's got the corner. It's only a 22.1 from Furious. He is at risk.
Sam is not improving. Everyone else can retire from the session. Sam is 1.4 seconds down in the middle sector. So huge gap. He's got 10 seconds, though, to try and get back in for another run. I think Sam might just do this. He's coming to the final corner. He's leaving it very close indeed, but he is going to get another run. So it's not over and done with just yet. Gakowski is improving in the middle sector by only 200ths of a second. Right on the limit now, coming in towards the right-hander at turn number 16. Let's see if he can find that time back again through the final corner on the run to the line. He does. He goes 11th. I think that is him safe. Luke Rapata seems like he's safe. I would have honestly gone again, realising that Sam is going again. Furious is down on lap time. Luke Rapata obviously down. Justin's just improved. So it is only Sam, I think, That is the man to watch out for right now for FRT. Down in P16, but he is looking quite good through that first sector. As I get an Adobe Acrobat pop-up on my laptop. Apologies about that. Sam now coming through the left-hander at turn 6, now through the right-hander at turn number 7. We'll see what Sam can do. A little bit screwed on the exit of the corner. Now passing the old GP2 pit straight around here in Abu Dhabi. And now on the run down into toward the left-hander at turn number 9. Is Sam improving in this middle sector? Yes, 900 top, 52.5. But he's got to find 4 tenths from somewhere to try and even knock off Furious. Furious was a little bit weak, though, coming through turn number 9. And look at him. He's already run out of battery. This is done for Sam, I think. Now coming in some of the left-hander at turn number 12, then through 13 and 14. Miracles can happen in mysterious ways. Whether or not Sam gets a miracle here in the As Marina circuit is a different thing. The FLT man now absolutely trying his level best through the final corner on the run to the line. 22.4 in the end, not good enough, but he ends up in P16. Rayen top in the session, Gabor there in second, Dan there in third position. So the only man out of the session, but the qualifying bands that we had, were Sam down in P16. Both EVE drivers are out in Belby and Finley, and Owen and Matteo both out for ET8 as well. But in the end, Rayen out on top, Gabor second, FRT in third with Dan. FRT changing fortunes, probably though their better driver qualifying into Q2.
Yeah, Dan's probably their Stig of the team. I think he's a blisteringly quick driver, is Dan. So no surprises that he's managed to snag through. But I think the issue with Sam was going through the corners. He seemed to actually be relatively steady. He's just a little bit afraid to get on the power. I think you may have heard me as he was going through, not the second last corner, but the last one before that one, saying put the power down, but there he's just easing onto the power. So that's where he's lost all his time and he will be knocked out. But fair play to the drivers out there that have made it through. But TTM championship leaders are struggling down in 10th and 15th.
Definitely so. Chelsea there saying in the chat, should have put Typical on the roster. I agree, but Typical's been doing EML recently, so I think he's been getting used up in probably worse team events than this, to be honest. But there we are. That's just my own opinion. I actually commentate EML as well, so I am actually obliged to pick that. But he does start P16. With that grid penalty, though, will get added on, I believe, at the end of the race, if I'm not mistaken. And just to run through everything that happened from Monaco, Luca Rapata's got a 5-place grid penalty, I believe, as well as Sam. Sam's got a 3-second penalty, but I believe it is going to go... it doesn't go behind qualifying ban, so I think that gets added on at the end of the race. Correct me if I'm wrong there in the chat, but in the end, a very interesting qualifying session there for Q1. Q2 is now about to begin. We'll go back out on track very soon, which means everyone for the initial stages of this session, I think, will have an extra fresh set of soft compound tyres, but I think the top 10, certainly those guys that were tied there towards the end of Q1, will be hoping to get through to Q3. Not only that, so they can actually have a fresher set of soft compound tyres in the final part of qualifying.
Quite. I'm just keeping a firm eye then on people that are going to be leaving the pit lane early. 14 minutes and 30 to go, and a bunch of people all very keen to get out there and get going, get their first laps on the board. Looking a little bit greasy, actually, at the exit of the pit lane as well. So, not sure about that one, but the drivers, in fact, it's a little bit greasy on the racing line as well. So, maybe the track just devolved a little bit. We'll have to see anyway, as everyone's just getting themselves on an outlap and very keen to get going on this one.
Yeah, Belrofix, by the way, confirming in the chat, it's a 3-place grid drop for Sam, I believe. So Sam will be dropped down, I think, into P19, which sort of takes the precedence over how the EVE guys and both ET8 drivers have got their qualifying bans. Some of them are going to be gaining positions as a result of that 3-place grid drop. So it is going to be definitely interesting, but it doesn't, as Belrofix just said there in the chat, actually, it doesn't go behind qualifying bans, so it will be P16. So it starts ahead of those guys, and I think that's fair, because otherwise I think it would have been very unfair for the ET8 boys and the EVE boys to pick up qualifying bands and then be starting ahead of the man of FRT there down in P16. But there we are. Furious is the first man now out on track. We're going to take you through a lap time on board with the TTM man of Furious, as we now come through the right-hander at turn 15 and in towards the blazing night sky here at the right-hander at turn number 16. Of course, we had Hamilton Verstappen 2021. Dare not mention that on the stream ever again. Furious now on the run down into the left-hander at turn number 1. Let's ride on board with the TTM man. Gets caught on the outside curb there slightly unsettles the car through turn turn number 1. Picks up a slight bit of AstroTurf on the left-hand side. Now through the right-hand of turn number 3. In towards Car Killer Corner. Down in towards turn number 4. But this is looking good through the first sector. Don't even know what his first sector is like because I haven't got the lap data on at the top end of my screen. Now through the right-hand of the left-hand of turn number 5. On the run now down in towards turn 6 and 7. Furious will definitely be looking pretty good, but his first sector not entirely great. Maybe he's on a used set of soft compound tyres.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people on a used set. Rayen's definitely on a used set of tyres at the moment, and I think as is actually Tech as well, the BRT man, currently obviously in 10th, but without a lap time on the board. Liam Bowman, Barak, Gabba, all electing to stay in the pit lane on this occasion. We do typically see Novus go a little bit out of sync. We've seen that actually throughout Season 4, so that doesn't surprise me that they're both in the pit lane at the moment. Oh, wow, Brando really early on the acceleration pedal through the long left-hander as well as the TRT man. But first lap times will be coming in, and the first lap time coming across the line will be, I believe, for the man in P15. Oh no, in fact, he's just starting his lap. It's actually TTM Furious comes across the line with what is definitely a used set of tyres. 22.9, 22.6 for Dan, though.
And Brando goes second as well. So Dan there, Tom Roberts now going second, Brando in third, Jeslaw there in fourth. Luke Rapata's already invalidated his lap. Liam Bowman, Barak and Gabor are actually staying in the pit lane for now. Not sure if they've actually came out on track or if they are just staying in there. Maybe to use that fresh set of soft compound tyres. 2D there as well, invalidate I think on his run. Thomas Covers is on the run now down in towards the left-hander turn number 5. So we'll see what Thomas Covers can do on this set. TTM, by the way, confirming that they're both on used set of soft compound tyres, both their cars. And now Thomas Covers, speaking of which, for TTM, now coming to the left-hander turn number 8, in toward the left-hander now of turn number 9. Apologies about a little bit of jittery on my end. My CPU seems to be tanking just slightly. 52.3 though in the middle sector from Thomas Covers. Makes me think TTM are trying to pull the wool over our eyes with this fresh set of softs that he is on. Now in toward the right-hander turn number 12.
Keeping a firm eye at the moment on other people just setting a lap. Luca at the moment looking to try set a lap. I thought nearly invalidated on that occasion, but obviously he's not on a lap at the moment. So yeah, Shazoo, again, I'm not sensing a lot of confidence in the team at the moment. I put them through as a winner as Thomas Covers comes across the line. TTM with a 22.0, so I think that's a new set of soft tyres. If that's an old set, that is impressive to say the least. But we all put Shazoo, didn't we? Gate as the winner, but me and Luke went for Team Shazoo out of the impression that although they were loose drivers, they could really work the team in such a way that it won't be a massive loss to them. At the moment, I just get a sense of unease between driver A, driver B, which sounds quite familiar, doesn't it? Season 3 was very much driven in that particular manner, and that's what loses people championships. So Luca needs to find his pace here a bit.
Yeah, definitely. So, apologies, you cut out for me on my end for a second there. I was just minimising Discord, and then I thought it closed down, and I thought I'd lost you. But there we are. Everything is now back fine. Luke Rapata is very angry coming in the pit lane. That is one angry young man coming in the pit lane there. Absolutely ratifying the wheel. He's got one of the BRT cars, I think, alongside him in his pit box. I think that might be Justin, who's just came in the pit lane. But he's down in 11th position. He is not happy whatsoever, Luke Rapata, for a PSGL, PSF1 champion, to be in here tonight after having that crowning glory, and to see him struggling here down in P11 in WOR Legacy Division. I think it is just the nature, the pure nature of how the racing normally is in sim racing these days. One night you can have an absolute brilliant night and be crowned champion. The next night, on a completely different track, you can struggle. And Luke Rapata is finding that out the hard way.
Yeah, he is a little bit at the moment as well. Still waiting on Novus to send both of their drivers out. Gabba's out, but Bowman's still in the pit lane at the moment. So I'm expecting Liam Bowman's probably going to be leaving the pit lane imminently because Gabba has just about finished his outlap as well. And quite the front end on that car, actually. A little bit of understeer going through the corner, but then the rear just snaps the car back in line. Look at that. You see there through turn 1. He just turns through the corner, gets understeer, but the rear snaps out and allows for the car to get that rotation. So very peculiar, actually, and that might have a case for a bit of a block maybe as well from what seems to have been Tech on that scenario, was just leaving the pit lane. And the Bowman now curiously just leaving the pit lane himself as well as predicted. Down then towards the straight for Gabba, and important here that Novus actually set a precedent here because Once again, not really having the race or the best race they possibly could. You've seen something.
Gabor has a huge mistake coming in towards turn number 5. Takes out the 50-meter ball. God knows if he wants to try and take out any more of them polystyrene boards on the right-hand side of the track. Somebody's going to lose their braking point and lose their loaf, I think. But Gabor is up on Thomas Covers in the middle sector, 52.2. Barak has just gone up on his lap time as well, coming to the first sector split. But we'll see what Gabor can do. He had a huge mistake, as I say, coming in towards turn number 5. Really snapped the car, takes out the bollards for good measure in towards turn number 12. He's knocking pretty much everything in the track infrastructure, bar the walls right now, is NVR Gabor. Now coming to the right-hander at turn number 15, in toward the right-hander at turn number 16. This should be quicker than Thomas Covers, no matter how scrappy it's looked. Through the final corner, 21.7, and he does go quicker than Thomas Covers. Barak's middle sector is incoming very soon indeed for the team TF10 man even. Ryan, they're down in 9th position for now. Barak is up on Gabor in that middle sector by 200ths of a second. So Barak looking good in that middle sector, 52.203. Gabor is 52.223, I believe. And now Barak in toward the right-hander turn number 12. It's looked like a much scrappier lap time. A much less scrappier lap time from the Spaniard. Now coming to the left-hander 14. That's perfect. Coming through turn number 14. Would not be surprised if this is a 21.5 or a 21.6 coming in here for the Spaniard. As he now comes through the final corner, Barak says hola to the rest of the field. 21.686. Gabor there in second, Thomas Covers in third, and Barak is currently top in the second.
Adios, he says, as he leaves the pit lane with a 21.6. Cracking that time, actually, that one. But Tude on a lap as well. Bit scruffy, actually, through turn 1. He couldn't really get the power down and found himself a bit beached on the outside curb, so he couldn't really get the power down as well. And Liam Bowman also struggling. I was about to mention that he is invalid there as well. Tude apparently the fastest second sector. I don't believe that on this occasion, as he's now just catching up to the back of a slow car at the moment. I believe one of the Hassers, I believe actually might be Gabba on his in-lap. Heading through the left hand. Oh, wow, he's actually got a lot of front end, has Tude. So obviously trying to prioritise the corner speeds as opposed to the straights, I think, for the TRT man. Chucks the car through the right-hander. Does the TRT man as the Italian team goes second fastest, just tucking in behind Barak by just 0.02 of a second.
Yeah, definitely. So Tudu there going in behind on Barak. Very good lap time being set by him. Rayen there went third. Tech went fourth as well. 9/10 improvement there from the BRT man of Tech there in fourth position. Liam Bowman, as I say, involved on his first run. Looks like he could be going again. Not sure if he's low on fuel. He is low on fuel. 18.6 in the first sector. Nowhere near. Jeslo, I think, is out of sync compared to everyone else. He's now on the run down into the left-hander of turn number 5 and 6. Barak out on top. Tudu there in second. Rayen there currently in third position. If the audio was out of sync, by the way, if we're on board, I can only fix what I've got to fix from the Elgato end. It might be the game end more rather than anything else. So Barak out on top, 2D second, Rayen in third. Jeslo not on this lap time right now. So pretty much everyone, I think, is complete in terms of their runs, unless you are seeing anybody out on a lap. I don't think anybody is right now on a lap time, and I'm just quickly flicking through, unless Tom Roberts is doing anything special. No, he's not. Everyone is on a down lap, so Barak out on top, 2D there in second. Rayen there currently in third position. Glad that the audio was fine. We have come off on board with the drivers. But currently, out of Q2, as it stands, both TTM drivers, from a 1-3 last week, Thomas Covers and Furious 11th and 12th, Jeslo is currently out, Justin is currently out, as well as Liam Bowman, which is probably the biggest shock of them all. Because I think we have lost Jota, unless he's muted. Oh no, we've lost Jota completely. Barak out on top, 2D there in second. Rayen there currently in third position. Not sure what is going on Jota's end. Hopefully he'll come back very soon. But with 4 minutes to go, Barak, 2D, Rayen currently top 3. Let me know who you think is going to get knocked out here in Q2. Let me know as well who you think is going to top the session going into Q3 as well. But it's Barak, 2D, Rayen currently in the top 3. Drivers, for me, that are doing a little bit worse than expected. Luke Rapato, as I already mentioned, they're down in P9. Both TTM drivers currently 11th and 12th position. And then Liam Bowman down in 15th, being the big shock of this session. Jota has departed the scene. Not sure if something's gone on his end, and his internet is just completely cut out. But you're stuck with me now for the next part, hopefully, of this session, going towards the end of Q2. But Barak, 2D, Rayen, currently the top 3. Looking at how this field is spread right now, the top 12 are covered by 0.4 of a second. The top 9, actually, are covered by 0.2 of a second. So it is very close around here, as we would expect here in Abu Dhabi. but it's going to be interesting to see how the drivers cope potentially with their final runs out on track. Speaking of their final runs, I think one of the TTM drivers is coming out first. Furious is coming down the hill into the left-hander now of the pit lane, coming out of the tunnel, and in fact, it's Tom Roberts coming out the pit lane. I thought that was not a pink-coloured car coming out the pit lane, unlike his teammate, Nick Rapata, who was running that sort of livery. But Tom Roberts is now coming out of the pit lane, and now he's running down into the left-hander of turn number 5. Max there in the chat saying, I don't know why, but I'm for FRT. I think everyone's for FRT, to be honest, in the chat. They had Sam knocked out, of course, there in Q1, so will be interesting to see how he can cope from that P16 start. And of course, EV and ETA, you might have been expecting them to be here in Q2 and 3. Both of them, both teams, had qualifying bans because of late submission sign-up. So that is why they both had qualifying bans at the end of the day, which means Mateo starts from pretty much right at the back of the field. Owen's starting from right at the back of the field as well. And then it's Finley and Belbelby as well for EVE. So they are going to be ones to watch out for, certainly, going forward in the race. But it is Barak out on top, 2D there in second, Ryan there in third. Let's ride on board then with the experienced figurehead. Even though he's only a couple of years younger than me, it is Tom Roberts now coming through the final corner, turn 15. Did he have a slight wheel disconnect there coming through 15? That was very, very strange indeed. Now levels up the car and now on the run down in towards turn 1. Let's see, on board with Tom, what he can do through the left-hander of turn number 1. He's nearly invalidated on the outside curve there. Through the left-hander now of turn number 2. Through the right-hander now of turn number 3. Barak 2D both retiring from the session. Tom Roberts' first sector. Anything special? Yes, a 10th up through the first sector. So Tom clearly having the first sector to behold. Very nice coming out of the left-hand with turn number 5. On the run now down in towards turn 6 and 7. This would look pretty decent so far from the experienced figurehead of Tom Roberts, who now comes down in toward the left-hander now of turn number 6. And we'll see what he can do. 50-meter board, of course, completely obliterated by Gabor with his early actions early on in the session. Tom Roberts now coming through the left-hand return right, passing the GP2 pit lane there on the right-hand side. Now on the run down in towards turn number 9. Tom Roberts' middle sector, 52.3. He's lost a little bit in that middle sector. Maybe that slight correction going through turn 6 has just cost him. He's nice coming out of turn number 9, and then in towards the right-hand returns 10, 11, and then through the triple right now in towards turn number 12. Then in towards 13 and 14, Tom Roberts looking special on this lap time right now. Needs to find a lot of time though in this final sector to try and even get up there with 2D and Barak. Barak there, only 400s clear of him right now. Now to the final corner for Tom Roberts, on the run to the line. Does he improve? He does not. 400ths down on his lap time in the end from Tom. Tech is up through the first sector. Ryan is 500ths down in the middle sector. So Ryan looking pretty good right now. Who is going to be out of qualifying? Liam Bowman right now, 17.3 in the first sector. Justin on the run to the line. Only manages 12. So Justin is out for BRT from a very good qualifying session there in Q1. BRT Justin is out. Gatkowski, a 10th and a half down, not looking to try and improve. Now the pole needs something special for CPI as he now comes through the final couple of corners, through the final whole corner of turn 16. Gatkowski on the run to the line doesn't manage an improvement. He is out of the session as well. Furious looks like he's out as Gabor now goes quickest. Liam Bowman, though, was the one in danger. Looking good through that middle sector split. 52.4, I think I had that at, from Liam Bowman through the middle sector. He is looking. Luke Rapata, Jeslar, Tom Roberts. He's got to find something in this final sector. Liam Bowman on his return to console here in WOR Legacy Division. Now coming to the left under 13-14. Drifts out completely, and that's going to cost him, I think. Now in towards the right-hander. The turns 15 and 16. Liam Bowman absolutely throwing the car through the final corner on the run to line, and he's out and he's last. Liam Bowman is out of Q2 in WOR Legacy Division. Who would have seen that coming at the start of the session? Gabor out on top, Barak there in second, 2D there in third. Furious, as I say, I think is down on his lap time, coming to the left-hand of 14. Justin is certainly out. Thomas Covers out as well. So pretty much the top 5 and the bottom 5, right at the bottom, absolutely getting obliterated by not improving on their lap times. TTM from a 1-3, I repeat, in Monaco. Thomas Covers and Furious both out of the session. Justin out of the session for BRT. Gatkowski, I'm not entirely surprised he's out of the session with that lap time, 21.9. And then Liam Bowman, 22.1. I know he's been mixing it with the guys on PC, Tier 2 and the likes, but Liam Bowman, on his return to console, the pad goat as we normally call him here in WOR Legacy Division, out in Q2. I would have never seen that one coming, but it is Gabor out on top. Changing fortunes for FRT, of course, in Q1. Changing fortunes for NVR in Q2. Gabor and Liam Bowman on the face of it. Very strong lineup. In the end, though, not so much because Liam Bowman is knocked out of Q2, but it's Gabor out on top from Barak in second. Gabor's got a 10th of a second over Barak, but look at how close it is between second and fifth. 12 hundredths of a second covering from Barak in second, 2D there in third, Rayan there in fourth, Dan there in fifth. Very good lap time there from the FRT man. Tech there in sixth, Tom Roberts there in seventh, Jeslar in eighth, Brando in ninth, and then Luke Rapata currently rounding off the top 10. So by my calculations, we've got both Team TF10 drivers in, both TRT, both Shazoo. Everyone else, though, is from a different team. We've got MVR Gabor, we've got FRT Dan, we've got BRT for Tech, and we've also got Jeslar for CPI. So we have got, what, by my calculations, that's what, 7 teams, I think, represented within 6 teams even, represented into Q3. And Q3 is going to be up and coming very soon indeed. People are saying, what an ET8 in the chat. ET8 are further down the field. P19 and 20 for their drivers. Owen there you can see in the chat, and also Matteo going to be racing. He is a man that specialises around the track from coming behind here before. So expect him potentially to get towards the bottom end of the field. Not sure if Jota is alongside me in the commentary box. I can currently see on my iPad he is not, so Discord is not working currently for him, and it looks like his internet might have potentially died right now, but hopefully we'll get him back throughout the stages here of Q3, which means, unfortunately, you're stuck with me going at about 100 miles an hour in terms of my voice. So I really hope you appreciate my commentary right now, and if you do, like, comment, subscribe, take that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new to the channel. We are going to be seeing the best of the best now going at it here in Q3 for Abu Dhabi. TTM, both of their drivers out. Liam Bowman out, and also Justin out as well for BRT. The big shocks there in Q2. Now going into Q3, who is going to top the session? Let me know in the comment section right now who if you think is going to top the session coming at the end of Q3. I'm immediately going to throw it out there and be absolutely boring as anything and go NVR Gabor for pole position. And if I get that right, then you get a cookie off me. And if you do predict the same as me, then fair enough. But 2D, first man out on track, along with Barak. I think Barak actually is the first man out on track right now, along with Luke Rapata there for Shazoo. He's running down in towards turn at number 6. But Barak, the Spaniard, he has a good form around this track. I think he's picked up a podium around here in WOR Console Tier 1 in the past as well. The Spaniard will definitely be looking to try and get a good lap time on the board. He's on a set of soft compounder tyres. Expect them to be on a used set of soft compounder tyres right at the start of this session. Remember though, Gabor, I think he's got a fresh set, maybe even 2 fresh sets of soft compounder tyres to potentially go at it alongside a couple of others here going into Q3. But Barak, now on the run down in towards turn 1, I'm going to take a slight drink and then I'll be back with you in like 5 seconds. Barak now through the left hand of turn number 1, now through the left hand of turn number 2, picking up a little bit of grass there on the right hand side from the AstroTurf, now through knocking the bollard off, coming through car killer corner at turn 3, now through the kink of turn 4, into the first sector, 17.2 in the first sector is not too shabby at all, makes me think Barak is going for a fresh set of soft compounder tyres right from the outside as well. 2D looks like he's catching him in behind. Might have had a quicker first sector as well. But Barak now coming down into the left-hander of turn number 6 and 7. We'll see what he can do. Furious for the way. Crispy there in the chat saying what happened to him. He got knocked out in Q2. In the end, didn't improve on his lap time. I think he invalidated, if I'm not mistaken, on his past run. The TTM, both their drivers out. Thomas Covers and Furious, 11th and 12th position respectively. Barak though, middle sector. 52-1. He's on a fresh set of softs. Oh, he knocks the bollard out for good measure, coming through turn number 9 as well. Now through into the marina section, through the triple right of 10, 11, and then eventually in towards turn number 12, really rotating the car in there, Barak. Now flying on tender hooks through the left-hander 13, through the left-hander now of turn number 14. We'll see what Barak can do, coming through the final couple of corners, in towards now turn 15, and then in towards the right-hander turn number 16. And because he feels that he's not improving, he decides to bail it into the pit lane. So might have been just powdering his nose a little bit later on. 2D though comes in, 21.6. I think that's the fastest lap time, near enough, that we've seen all night. So 2D, they're out on top. Luke Rapata for good measure, 52.3 in the middle sector, so I expect Luke to go behind 2D. by about 0.2 per second, I think. With this lap time, we'll see what the newly crowned PSGL PSF1 champion can do through the final corner on the run to line with Luke Rapata. 21.9, he does exactly go into second position. We've got Tech starting up through the middle sector, 52.1, so he's matching 2D through that middle sector as well. We will try and see how everything is going on. I know I'm commentating the bad lap. I haven't got anybody to hand over to. That's why I'm trying to run through everyone at this stage of the session. Q3 though out on track, 4 minutes gone, 2D out on top, Luke Rapata in second, Techno coming in now for BRT. In toward the right-hander of turn number 16, on the run toward the line then, with the BRT man, Rayan now goes quickest, Tech goes third, and then behind 2D by 0.02 of a second. And in fact, actually, talking about symmetry, it's about the same sectors that they've set. Gabor, though, purple out of everyone in the middle sector, 52.140. He's up on Rayan, up on 2D by about 1/10 of a second right now at this moment in time. But Rayan, 2D, Tech there, currently in the top 3. Then it's Luke Rapata in 4th position, 3/10 off the back of those guys. Might have been on a used set of softs. Think it's more skill and pace rather than anything else for Luke Rapata here tonight. But now Gabor, my favourite 4th position, coming through the final corner, on the run toward the line. 21.622, doesn't knock it out of the water, but he is improving ahead of Rayan and goes quickest for now. Dan, middle sector, 52 flat from Dan. In the middle sector, 500 up on Gabor through that middle sector. Now coming in toward the final corner at turn 16. See what the FRT man now can do. He's got, I think, Brando on an outlap behind him. Dan there goes 4th. Good lap time there from him. But it is literally a hair's breadth over everyone else. 600th covering the top 5 right now. Gabor in the lead from Rayan in second. 2D there in third. Dan in 4th. Tech there in 5th position. Out there on track, Jeslar about to come in with a 52.2. We are going to get Jota in very soon indeed. He has just joined me alongside me in the commentary box once again. Jeslar, though, looking to try and set into the 21.6s once again. Now in toward the right-hand return 15. In toward the right-hand return number 16. He's got Tech coming in the pit lane right on the right-hand side of him. Now on the run to line for Jeslar. And he now set to 21.6. You get a 21.6. You get a 21.6. You get a 21.6. Gabor out on top. Jeslo in second, Rayan in third, top six, covered by 600th of a second. Jota, are you in the session?
Yeah, absolutely fabulous. I'm in the session. Unfortunately, for some reason, it decided to completely close my Discord and then install, I am not joking, 25 updates. You just try and figure that one out for yourself. Very odd. Anyway, Tom Roberts on the lap at the moment, and in fact, he's not. He's decided to trail break around corners for some reason. Shazua struggling out there at the moment. Luca, the only person not to be in the 21.6s, currently 0.3 of a lap slower than literally everybody else around him. And Tom has decided to abandon his lap completely and comes into the pit lane. So Shazoo are really uncomfortable as Brando comes on the last line and 1,000th of a second faster than Gabo with a 21.621 of his own. So impeccably close stuff at the moment. Top 4 from different teams. Top 7 all from different teams except for TRT. Immaculate stuff out there. Brilliant.
Barak invalidates coming through the Lafiti, I'm calling them. Latifi corner at turn number 14. Barak would have said 21.6. 21.6 it would have been. Absolutely incredible. Everyone is literally on tenterhooks on these lap times right now. It's Brando out on top, Gabor in second, Jeslar there in third. Honestly, this is one of the maddest qualifying sessions I've ever seen, and we've still got 4 minutes to go out on track in this session in Q3. And we've got what? Brando, Gabor, Jeslar, Rayan, top 4, all different teams. Add into that Dan, Tech, Luke Rapata. You've got 7 teams right now in the top 8 of this session. Absolutely incredible qualifying from everyone. If Barak improved on a 21.6, that wouldn't have mattered. But in the end, Dan and P10 didn't get a valid lap time on the board. Tom Roberts hasn't got a valid lap time on the board either. Bailey coming into the pit lane. But with 4 minutes to go, Brando out on top, Gabor second, Jeslar in third. I think it's fair to say, of the next comment that I'm going to make, this is the most wide open qualifying session we've seen this season. And I also think it's one of the most wide open qualifying sessions we've seen of all time.
Yeah, I mean, it's blisteringly close. There have been some really close qualifiers. I think Bahrain Season 1 was really close. Las Vegas was pretty close as well from Season 4. But this one, having what would have been, if it was a valid lap from Barak, it would have been the top 8 within 21.6s. That's absolutely fantastic, to say the least, on this one as well. Chudi's decided he's had enough. He
21-5?
wants to get on with it. 21-5 potentially on the radar, or we're going to have a 21-6, 21-4 for Chudi as he comes across the line. Is that a used set of softs, though? I wonder. I don't think it is. I think that's a new set of softs. If that is a new set of softs, sorry, Chudi, I don't expect you to be on pole with that lap time, buddy.
Yeah, 21.449. He'd be expecting on drivers to invalidate, I think, or to set a down lap and then go for a full run very late on in the session. But Chudi, right now, that 10th.5 gap, you may think it is a very big gap around this track. Judging by how everyone's on a 21.6 and behind, and judging by how talented these guys are out on track as well, we've lost Jota once again. I think there might be another update going on potentially for his laptop. Tom Roberts still down in 9th position. He's on an outlap right now, as is Rayen. They're just coming out on track very soon indeed. Let me know, though, in the comment section who you think is going to come out on top in this session. As I say, it's the most wide-open qualifying session I think we've had so far this season. Not only in Legacy Division, not only, I think, in Console Tier 1, but Tudi, Brando, Gabor coming to the top 3. 2 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock to go. And this is going to be a really intriguing session. Can the experienced figurehead of Tom Roberts there get up the field, get a valid lap time on the board? He's given himself enough time, if he does invalidate his run, to go for another run again, which should be to his benefit. But how the drivers have been invalidating their final runs, of course, there in Q2, is definitely going to be intriguing indeed. So it is going to be very, very close to see how everyone goes out on track. E8, by the way, have got a back row lockout. I know you guys are complaining there in the chat. I see you guys. Not trying to pull the ball over my eyes whatsoever with what you're commenting, but we're right on ball with the Shizuma and Tom Roberts, one of the most experienced drivers on the grid, now running down in toward the left-hander of turn number 1, and we'll see what Tom Roberts can set beautiful through turn number 1. Now through the left-hander 2, through the right-hander now turn number 3, Curb and the Bollard taken out, of course, by, I think it was Gabor, if I'm not mistaken. 17.3 in the first sector. Not purple. Tom Roberts is definitely not finding improvement through his first sector, at least for now. I think Jota is just fixing himself right now, but Tom Roberts now coming down into the left-hand turn 4. Tudi decides that's enough. He can't get another lap time in. He retires from the session. So Tudi is done. He'll be relying now on Brando and Gabor potentially to try and improve. But Tom Roberts still on this lap now, coming to the right-hander turn number 7. Now through the left-hander now turn number 8. And we'll see what Tom can do coming through this middle sector split. He's got to hold a little bit of battery back for this final thrust to the line in the middle sector. 52.1. He is down on Gabor, down on Brando, down on Tudi in that middle sector. So Tom now passing the Marino on the right-hand side. Now in toward the triple right of turns 10, 11 and 12. Nearly said 12, 13, 14. Now through the left-hander of turn 15. Now through the left-hander of, 13. Now through the left-hander of 14. Gets caught out wide. Will not have enough run to try and get enough time even to try and get another run in. But Tom now comes through the final couple of corners on the run to line with Tom Roberts. Does he improve? He also gets a 21.6. He goes there 8th position. Luke Rapata is up on his lap time through the first sector. Just trying to see actually who is furthest on right now on a lap time. Rayen is up on a lap time. And now the Algerian coming through the left-hander at turn number 14 is up in the middle sector. So we'll see what Rayen can do. Coming through the middle part and the final part of this lap. Through the final couple of corners for Rayen. Oliver Talani invalidates. No. 21.593. Wouldn't have been an improvement. He would have went second with that lap time. Jeslar now goes second. This lap time is wide open. Brando, though, was improving big time. 2.5 improvement in the middle sector. Gabor improving as well. He's now coming in toward the final couple of corners. The MVR man is looking very strong. Now through the final corner. My favourite for Paul. Oh, he doesn't get it. He goes second in the end. But Brando is still the man to watch out for. Now coming through the right-hander at turn number 14. Now in towards 15. Now in towards 16. Brando looks on course for pole position. Through the final corner. On the run to line. He does it. 21.403. Tom can't manage another lap time in. Brando out on top. Tudi in second. Gabor there in third. It was a 1-2 for TTM last week in qualifying. This time, it's another T, but it's TRT.
Yeah, I must admit, I wasn't expecting that one. And fair play to Tudi. I dismissed his 21.449 as an impossibility for pole, but it's his teammate as the only person that could take it from him. And TRT has now got 1-2, and I think that wasn't exactly what everyone was expecting, to be honest with you, because Dan Jeslar, maybe even one of the BRT boys in tech would have been able to get up there. But no, TRT have shown their muscle, and they are at the front.
What did I say at the start of the session with regards to the lineups coming into tonight. I said TRT had one of the strongest lineups. Did I or did I not say that coming out of my horse's mouth that I've got here in the commentary box? Brando and Tuli, 1-2. It's almost as if I can predict the future, honestly. The ball there in third in the end, Jersey in fourth, and Dan rounding off the top five. Luke Rapata from a really unpromising position, ended sixth there in Q3, so very good lap time from him. Everyone now going to be restarting the session. You can see drivers there leaving at the bottom of the session, but we will get now through the running order of Q3, and it is the TRT boys of Brando and Tuli, the all-Italian pairing for the Italian team. Brando and Tuli there first and second. Tuli, of course, Romanian, I should say, rather than Italian. Gabor there in third, then Jeslar in fourth, a tenth of a second covering the top four. Adding to that, Dan, you've got a tenth and a half covering the top five. Luke Rapazza there in sixth, Tech there in seventh, Ryan there in eighth, Tom Roberts there in ninth. Barak didn't get a lap time actually on the board in the end, it seemed, down there in P10. So 3/10 of a second actually covering the top nine in the end. Fantastic end to that qualifying session. Brando out on top, 2D second, Gabor there in third. Gabor, by the way, is not a beast because he's there in P3 and he's definitely showing some of you guys up there in the chat. But we will now go for our intermission break as always and we'll be back with you on the other side. Welcome back, everyone, to WOR Legacy Division. We are here tonight for round number 5, season number 5, round 2 of the championship. It is the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and as you can tell, because we are now back waffling once again, we are now about to get started here for Abu Dhabi for the 29-lap race that we will have out on track. But first, let's have a reminder of what happened last week in the Monaco Grand Prix. Flopman out on top. 25 seconds, absolute domination from the man who usually calls himself Flopman. Luke Papassa in second, Allison there in third, TTM 1-3, ending about a Q2 here tonight with Furious and Thomas Covers. So they have got something to try and bite back. I hope that makes sense. At the end of this session, coming into tonight in Abu Dhabi. My name is James Headlow, just alongside me in the commentary box, and from what was a very interesting qualifying, and from that utter meme that is going to be put out there from everyone setting at 21.6, everybody was very good. And in the end, TRT ended up in topping the session with Brando and Tootie.
Yeah, second 1-2 of the season of 2 rounds as well. Of course, TTM taking the 1-2 in qualifying in Monaco. TRT taking the honours at Abu Dhabi. So they'll be very happy and very keen to get going. But of course, never discredit Gabba in third place. He'd be happy to get the jump on both of them if they have a bad start. So it's not all set in motion. You can overtake here in Abu Dhabi. So that will be certainly one to watch.
Yeah, definitely so indeed. By the way, if the person who does hate me would like to leave the stream, that'll be absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much. Our top team Motorsport, they're leading the way. 67 points coming into tonight. Team Chazoo are in second on 33. CPI in third on 26. Then Bunga Racing Team in fourth on 22. TLT in fifth on 22. Then it's Team TF10 and sixth on 16. ET8, 10 points to the guys who normally led from last season from the outset in Legacy Division in Monaco. Down in 7th position this time around on 10 points. Novus Racing Team in 8th on 8. And then it's Avisio on 9th on 2. Project Avisio as they go by these days. And then FRT in 10th. Future Racing Team in 10th on 0 points. So, Top Team Motorsport out on top. They've got a considerable margin, but it is going to be relatively damage limitation for TTM starting 11th and 12th. And Team Chazoo, having both their drivers qualify in the top 9, Chazoo are going to be wanting to try and gain points on TTM in the early stages of this session and indeed of this season.
Yeah, critically, they've not had a particularly good event in this one, and nor have the championship leaders either. Both knocked out in Q2 were TTM. So a little bit of a topsy-turvy scenario here. Drivers now getting themselves ready on the grid, as I think we're going to be heading in, and it's a very slow getting into the lobby. So I don't know if FC25 is wrecking the servers, but certainly feels like it.
Yeah, it certainly feels like, indeed, I thought Owen was joining very, very slow there, but it looked like half the grid was trying to join a little bit slow there, coming into the lobby. But we are now about to get underway once again. Let me know, though, in the comment section who you think is going to top the session here tonight in the race here in Abu Dhabi, who you think is going to win this race, who you think is going to get the top 3, and who you think might be the underdog from the race. I'm immediately going to go bold, brave, and hopefully brilliant in terms of my prediction. Matteo, starting right down in P19, ET8 man, he normally comes alive in the races. He's got a fresh set of soft compounder tyres on. If his game on Rivals isn't anything to go by, Matteo should be carving his way through the field and honestly is one of the guys to watch out for, I think, from further down.
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly going to be one to keep an eye out on. Matteo's always a driver to keep an eye on. He's the guy who very happily overtakes 5 people at once, isn't he, Matteo? So I wouldn't expect him to do a last to first challenge, but he certainly could be within realm of a top 5 finish. I'm going to say TRT are not going to take the win either. I think there'll at least be one safety car, and I think on an alternate strategy, we could see someone like FRT Dan, maybe even Jeslar take it. I'm going to put my money on Gabba, though. Nova's taking their first win of the season.
Yeah, Liam Bowman as well from 15th, I think is going to be a real underdog to watch out for as well. Of course, returning to console, I think, for tonight for Legacy Division. Of course, he's been on PC recently. Transition to PC, now back to console once again. So Liam Bowman is going to be a really, really rare find to see. Whether or not he can try and find his way through the field from 15th position on the grid is a different thing. I'm going to honestly back you, I think, in terms of prediction. And I normally don't back Jota in terms of predictions. I think Gabor could take the race win. I think he's going to be considerably stronger in terms of the strategy compared to TRT. What TRT, though, have got at their disposal, both of them are 1-2, both of them can work together, and both of them can do a little bit of team tactics here and there as well. So, with Brando and 2D in mind, Gabor starting, of course, behind him there in P3, it's going to be a relatively short run down in towards turn number 1. I would expect TRT to get their elbows out pretty early on.
Yeah, I think they're both going to try and work together tactically on this one here, both electing to start on the medium as it currently stands. Expecting a medium-hard race as per usual in this one. Mixture of strategies across the board, though. I would have expected TRT to switch, and there it is. Yeah, so inverse strategy for Brando as it stands, looking like he's going to start on the hard. Gabba electing also to start on the hard, as is Tudy. So in fact, TRT are going to have the same strategy by the looks of things, unless they're just sorting it out. Oh, we're getting going.
5 red lights about to go out here for Lakesy Division. It is round 2 of Season 5, and it is already lights out and away we go. Brando gets a very weak start, and 2D on the outside line is going to try and run down in towards turn 1. In fact, it's 2D that gets the weaker start. Brando leads the way through turn 1. 2D there in second, Gabor there in third. Then it's Tech and Jeslo fighting side by side. Coming out through Car Killer Corner at turn number 3. Rien right on the back of Dan. Dan on the pressure from Tom Robertson behind as well. I think everyone is clean through in the background. Fighting further down the field is Luke Rapata getting done on the inside line. Actually, there's a bit of carbon fibre flying. I think that might have been from Jeslo, if I'm not mistaken. A bit of orange front wing there, kicking off in terms of the car. So Jeslo, I think, might have early damage. In fact, he does. Right side end plate damage on the car. Running down the straight there. Now under pressure from Dan on that sort of hard compound of tyres. It is line abreast as we go. And there's a huge bit of contact further down. I think Baraka's gone into the back of Dan. He might have lost a little bit of front wing there as well. There's a lot of carbon fibre picking up as well. Maybe a little bit of PG-18 in there as well. I'm sure I saw Barak there lagging a little bit. But Brando leads the way. 2D in second. The ball there in third. And TRT currently holding it 1-2.
Yeah, holding it as it stands so far, but Gabba keeping the pressure on at the moment. Are the Novus Racing Haas team as he tries to potentially keep up pressure on Tudy. A bit of a lock-up on the front right for Tudy as well, as he tries to hold up that particular position. And Ted getting really close for comfort as well. Jeslar started to lose track now of those in front with that front wing damage. Dan will be very happy to swallow up the position, but he needs to get it done soon.
He does, and Jeslo is actually continuing on with that front left side end plate damage on the car, the right side end plate damage even on the car. He is continuing on, as is everyone else. There is a little bit of carbon fibre, I think, hanging off potentially on Luke Rapata's car further down the field. I think there was a little bit of carbon fibre flying, maybe from Barak as well, as I mentioned earlier on. But Brando leads the way, 2D there in second, and already you can see, in terms of the ERS usage, Brando was a lot higher compared to 2D. Of course, DRS is enabled running down the straight, down in towards turn number 5. So we could see early overtakes being known right here. And I think 2D is going to go for a swap for the race lead, as is Tech on the back of Gabor as well. And it's going to be 2x2 Noah's Ark as we come now through in toward the left-hander of turn number 5. Or Tech runs into the back of Gabor there slightly. Everyone continuing up and behind Barak very late on the brakes compared to Tom Roberts, the former PSF2 drivers, of course, having that title fight in season 30. Now having another fight here once again, and now Barak and Thomas still side by side, coming out through the left-hander turn number 9, and already Liam Bowman getting through the field, up into 8th position. He might go all the way around the outside in towards the hairpin, doesn't manage it, but Liam Bowman, I did say watch out for him. He's there in P9, and he's carving his way through the field. There's still a side by side between Barak and Tech.
Yeah, up six positions from where he started, but remember, he's on the medium tyre, so he's had to make his way through a bunch of people who were also on the medium tyre. So very quick at the moment out there is the Novus Racing driver. Tom Roberts, his next rival, the Team Shizou driver here, as there no surprises. Barak has come in. Looks like front wing damage. He's retiring straight out of this race. 3 of 29. That's very early for Barak to decide to call it quits. I'm very shocked, actually, that he's made that decision.
Makes me think there might be an underlying issue potentially in terms of his car, whether or not he had side pod damage potentially, or his wheel was just caving in slightly. These things happen. It's sim racing at the end of the day. Nothing's perfect in sim racing either. And Barak has found that out. And Gakowski and Furious are side by side. I'm about to get side by side, I think, as well, for the race lead, because Tudy bounds past Brando. See if he's not even there. Gabor's going to try and come out of blue as well to the inside line in towards turn number 5, but he doesn't get the move done. Tudy there leading the way. Brando second. Gabor there in third. Back and ball with that battle with Furious and Gakowski further down the field. Furious ahead of Gakowski for now. That yellow flag in sector 1 being a complete nuisance, by the way, in the top left-hand side of your screen is still for Barak's car about to retire out of the race and hopefully get off the track very soon, because that is very, very annoying as Matteo goes to the inside line on the back of Sam. Further down the field, the Italian stallion, as we like to call him in sim racing these days. He's start by side still with Sam on the outside line now in toward the right-hand return of 11 and 12, but in the end, Sam relinquishes the position. Matteo Thuni's into 16th.
Brando deciding to put his ERS mode into none, and it caught Judy nearly completely off guard, actually going through that corner under the building. So he's looking a little bit as if he's just trying to play a bit of ERS chicken with his teammate at the moment, but nearly caught Judy off guard. And Gabba was also wise to it as well, and he elected to start pushing a little bit here. So I'm wondering if we're going to start to see Gabba potentially putting Judy under pressure here. Is he going to go for the dive? On this occasion, he will not.
Rayenlo goes for the dive in towards turn number 5 on the back of Tech. Tech goes to the outside line. It's going to be side by side. Wing moves apart, running down the straight in towards turn number 5. And I think Rayen has got ahead very comfortably indeed on the back of Tech. 3 wide though for the straight down in towards turn number 5. Gabor trying to go around the outside of double of the TRT boys. Tootie and Gabor side by side. Gabor slots in behind Tootie. Tries to get the switch back now coming out of turn number 7. Now through the kink of 8 and now in towards the left-hand return number 9. Gabor is going to have to go for the race lead. His closing speed is going to be quicker than Tootie's, but in the end he relinquishes the position for now and holds on to P2 as we get a beautiful helicopter cam on board with Dam and Jeslar coming out through the left-hander. Dan all the way around the outside of Jeslar. That front wing damage, honestly, he should have came in on that one because he is going to forfeit positions now for CPI.
Yeah, he's going to have to really consider it here. The problem is Gatkowski is down in 14th place and at the bottom end of the point scoring position. So, CPI, 7th place is still not a bad effort, to be fair, but they know that they're going to be hemorrhaging time at the moment as a mistake from Gabba going through that corner might invite Brando into the hairpin. We'll see then going through turn 1. He is putting the Novus Racing driver under pressure, but a very good turn 1 from Gabba.
And if I was Tom Roberts right now, I'd be absolutely going at Jeslar and absolutely getting this move now in towards turn number 5. You've got to dive this because Jeslar is going backwards. You've got to go forwards, my friend. And Tom Roberts actually decides, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to actually not listen to this James Head in the commentary box. He's now on the back of Jeslar, running down in towards turn number 6. And maybe Tom Roberts, the experienced figurehead of the lot, is going to be right at the end of the day. And we're not going to be right in the commentary box because Tom is through and he's into 7th. Liam Bowman coming through on the inside line as well towards turn number 5. Jeslar locks up there on the rear right and now gets the job done. Liam Bowman 3 wide in the exit. Luke Rapata going around the outside, and there's contact between Justin and Jeslar. Justin gets a 3-second penalty. That is going to get removed. That was unfortunate contact between Jeslar and him, and now they're still side by side with Thomas Covers coming in toward the left-hander now of turn number 9. Justin all the way around the inside line of Thomas Covers. Hold on. If I was Jeslar now, though, I'd be coming in the pit lane, and I think actually, has his teammate got a bit of damage as well? Gatkowski, he has. Gatkowski's also got right side end plate damage on the car as well. So both CPI drivers are in absolute dire straits right now.
Yeah, I think that might be going from bad to worse here. They need a safety car to get at least one of their drivers through. Gatkowski can manage it, but Jeslar can't, and into the pit lane he goes. Just keeping an eye out on the chat at the moment. TF10 confirms Barak retires as a result of lag on circuit and would rather not put any of the drivers under any undue pressure as a result.
Yeah, fair enough. We did mention, actually, coming through turn number 8, I think it was, I did see a little bit of lag from him, so Barak, I think, doing the fair thing, doesn't want to cause absolute carnage, doesn't want to get about 10 stewards reports against his name either, and therefore he's down at the back of the field. Here comes Gabor and Tootie once again for the race lead. Tootie overtaking the back of Brando. Look at Gabor's closing speed, though, to the inside line. Brando can't live with that, and now looks at the inside line now through turn number 5, now through the right-hand turn number 6, and Gabor all the way around the outside, about to get Brando done for chips, and now TRT's going to have to help each other out because Rayen is right on the back of these guys as well, and they're still side by side. There's the toe from Brando on the back. TRT playing the team game. Rayen nearly gets contacted there by the back of Tech, closing very late indeed, but still side by side between Brando and Gabor. Gabor's going to have to try and relinquish his position, whether he likes it or not. Brando's still there on the inside line. Gabor that gets the inside line. Beautiful move by Gabor. That is racing at its finest. Tootie leads the way. Gabor in second, Brando there in third. TRT, you may try team tactics. In the end, Gabor's got one up.
Yeah, oh, a little bit of mistake though as he gets the rear-ended ever so slightly from Brando. Not sure if that's given him damage or not. TRT doing the Novus Racing tactics. Remember, back in Las Vegas last season, Novus Racing ran riot with that exact strategy. But Gabba knows how to break that strategy up and has split both of the TRT boys, and Brando caught a little bit off guard and just ever so slightly nudges the rear of Gabba as a result. And remember, Rayen and Tech are also keeping within close proximity of the two hard runners as well. So they're making their strategy work ever so slightly. If they can extend their medium stint, who knows? Maybe a soft could go on. Let's see.
Luca Rapata through on Liam Bowman further down the field as well. A little bit of weaving there from Luca Rapata. Liam Bowman, oh, that's stand.
Brando later breaks again, crashing into the back of Gabba. Brando made that mistake earlier on. He's made the mistake again, and he spins the Novus Racing driver out. There goes our prediction. But Brando and TRT are in a lot of trouble with that one, and also definitely going to have damage. It was one hell of a whack.
And Tech as well, just lost the position to Dan and to Tom as well, coming down that straight in towards turn number 9. So Tech and Dan were fighting out for position. That's the battle I was on board with. I missed completely Brando going into the back there of Gabor, and then Gabor there ending up down in 7th position. So apologies about the shoddy camera work, but 2D leading the way, Brando there in 2nd, Rayen there in 3rd. There's a beautiful helicopter cam on board with the FRT man. And it's the FRT man I wanted to mention next, because when I was going to come on board with them as their inside line, Luke Rapata on the back of Gabor, nearly getting the move done there down in towards turn 1. Dan had 87% of BOS this time around, going on to lap number 7. He's now got 30%, but he is still looking, I think, in the best position in the house right now. In P4, Tom Roberts in behind. You want to hang yourself with a good crew around you. Rayen on the fresh turn mediums is going to start going off. Dan now is going to go for the move as a result. To the inside line, running down the straight. Tom as well, going to get a beautiful double toe. Might go for a double move, but in the end, Dan up to 3rd. Tom Roberts there in 4th. Has Dan, though, got in DRS range? Not if he does that in towards the chicane.
Dan actually is a dark horse. I did mention this actually just before the race got started, that he could be a driver to consider. The issue is his ERS management has been beyond appalling on the last couple of laps, using overtake where he didn't need to, and as a result he's lost position again now to Tom Roberts in P3, and Brando is hemorrhaging time left, right and centre with that major front wing damage. He's locking up and getting flat spots on the front right tyre, and Chudy is just hanging back and trying to help his teammate out. I'm sorry, ditch the teammate. He's made the mistake. He's going to have to come into the pit lane. He stays out again.
Look at
TRT.
Oh, indeed, he gets the move on the back of Tech, but Liam Bowman is into the pit lane. Hard set of compound tyres going to go on to the end of the race. They can make the end of the race from this stage in the race. Luke Rapata, though, nearly got the move done on Tech into the final corner. That was a beautiful helicopter shot on board with both drivers. Tech, in the end, made a mistake, I think, halfway through turn 15. Luke Rapata was right on the inside line into 16, ended up backing out, and Tech ended up retaking that move for P6, and then down in P7, out on track indeed. But Chudy there leading the way, Brando there in 2nd, Tom Roberts there in 3rd, Dan in 4th, and now we're better get Luke Rapata, Tech Part 2, down in towards turn number 6 and 7 this time around. Bit of a lag forward there from Tech. Inside line for the PSF1 champion Luke Rapata, now around the outside of turn number 7, and that is a champion's move. Luke Rapata through and he's into 6th. Really neatly done.
Yeah, Shazoo making really good effort with their race actually after what was a very poor qualifying from the Alpine team. Tech electing not to go for the overtake on this occasion, stays just behind Luca. But once again, Chudy is holding up position. He's just trying to keep Brando within DRS to allow TRT an opportunity to try and hold on to this 1-2. I don't know why. He's got major front wing damage, and Chudy needs to consider the long-term ramifications of holding Brando forward, because if Chudy can at least steam away and try and take this race victory for TRT, that'd probably be their better scenario than helping Brando around the circuit with that major front wing damage. I'm not sure why they're doing it, because Tom Roberts is all over the back of Brando for Team Shazoo.
And Luca Rapata's all over the back of Rayen, and there's a big gap actually now formed between Dan and Rayen, and I think that's why TRT are currently sticking out there with Tudi and Brando being P1 and 2 because of what's happening in behind. There goes Gabor to the inside line of Tech, and Tech now fighting back to the inside line. Gabor around the outside. Beautiful move by the NVR man. That's the move of the race so far from Gabor. Gets the job done. Luca Patta with the job done down the straight as well. And Tom side by side with Brando as we come on board into the left-hander turn number 7. Locking up the rear there, Tudi in front, but Tom now through and he's into second. Brando there in third. Of course, Tom Roberts, remember, took the race win last night in PSGL PSF1. Whether or not he takes the race win here tonight in WOR Legacy Division and make it 2 in a row is a different thing. Put it this way, if he does want to win the race, he'd probably be sick of the sight of me 2 nights in a row.
Just keeping a firm eye on the situation with Gabba at the moment, though. He's a man on a mission, isn't he? Now, of course, with that collision that occurred, now I managed to get away without any kind of visible damage that we can see, but whether he took rear wing or diffuser damage is another question. But he's hanging on to P6, no issue, on the back of Luca. Now, of course, remember, Luca is looking to try and keep within touching distance of his teammate now in second place. Dan, of course, also a little bit of a dark horse in this one, but his ERS management has been pretty poor the last few laps, although he's managed to improve now back up to the 60s of percent. So Gabba just holding his own and trying to claim the time back that he lost as a result of that collision with Brando, who almost certainly will be facing the wrath of the stewards.
The first real pit stop's been made, by the way, as well, and that is Rayen, Tech, Furious, Gatkowski all into the pit lane. Don't even think I mentioned where Liam Bowman came out in all this as well. Liam Bowman's going to be miles behind on this battle, I think, in towards turn number 1. Rayen and Tech are certainly going to be ahead. Furious and Gatkowski are certainly going to be ahead, I think, as well. So Furious now has got to play a team game with Thomas Covers, with them being in the DRS range. So they are the early pit stops. I think, honestly, though, these guys on a set of hards are on the right strategy. Tudi, Tom Roberts, Brando, all on the same strategy. Everyone, really, who hasn't gone on for a set of mediums, Justin is the only one out there on a set of medium compounded tyres, and in fact he's about to get overtaken by Matteo and by Owen around the outside. Ite trying to go for a double move around the outside of turn number 9. Matteo, Unk as we call him now in console, is through and he's into 7th. Justin now under pressure from Owen, and the Irishman tries to go around the outside line on the back of Justin, nearly unsettles the car into turn number 12, but in the end Matteo gets the move done. Justin there down in 8th, and then Owen there down in 9th position. Justin, you imagine, to try and cover off the likes of Rayen, Tech and Gatkowski, he'd be in the pit lane, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, Owen was actually having a little bit of a tank slapper under braking just behind the back of Justin. Obviously, the dirty air effect really having an effect on the front wing of Owen on that one, as Thomas Covers gets a 3-second time penalty. That's multiple warnings. TTM's race going from bad to worse and only getting the one singular point as it stands, but he will lose that point to Liam Bowman on the fresh hard tyre as it currently stands with that 3-second penalty going through the left-hander. Thomas Covers actually getting the fastest lap of this race regardless, but I don't think that's a valid fastest lap if he went off of the circuit. It's Tom getting close in this battle here as he makes the overtake on Tuesday and takes the lead of this race from TRT.
Oh, and I thought Dan was going to have a very cheeky look to the inside line of turn 6 and 7 there on the back of Brando. Ends up coming off worse, coming out of the corner, so he is going to remain in behind on the likes of Brando and Tudi. Tudi, by the way, goes for the race lead. Why not? May as well swap. They're still going to go at least a few more laps on these sort of hard compounded tyres. I'm imagining with how those guys have pitted in on the set of medium compounded tyres, these guys are going to be putting in, what, lap 18, lap 19, maybe? Or Brando again, nearly into the back of Tom. Goodness me, he really needs to sort out his braking.
Yeah, no, it's actually beginning to wind me up a little bit here, because the thing is that this is the 3rd time he ends up braking far too late. Remember, he's also got a damaged front wing, so the downforce on that front wing is going to be reduced. And he's also got a car right in front of him, so the dirty air is going to further reduce the downforce. He needs to start playing smart here. DRT have got an opportunity to earn big points. If he has another collision of that magnitude like he did with Gabba, he might not even finish this race.
And Tom Roberts nearly ended up out of the dirty air there of Tudi. Ran wide coming through turn number 1. Tudi now on the front foot compared to Tom. Tom now once again on the front foot running down the straight. Luca Patta is all over the back of Dan as well. Is Tom going to go for the move? Oh, you bet he will. Just saunters to the race lead. Has to take the race lead because he had too much closing speed. Owen and Matteo into team war between EC8 now happening. They're trying to catch up on the back of Gabor, Luca Patta and the likes of Dan as well further up the field. They are now trying to pursue that train into the pit lane on that set of medium compound tyres later on in the race. Luca Rapata on the back of Dan in towards turn number 9. That is a beautiful move by Luca Rapata. That is an absolute class move from the PSGL PSF1 champion, Luca Rapata, out into 4th position. Beautiful move. Nearly looking onto the back of Brando for good measure as well. But that was honestly absolute calculated to perfection from Luca Rapata. As soon as I say that, though, he's just made a mistake, so I dare not say anything else.
Well, no, that's exactly what we'd expect from Team Shazoo, and you know, might have had a poor qualifying, but the race has been absolutely astonishing, as has ET8 as well. They've not had a bad race considering they had a qualifying ban as well, so not bad so far between the teams that really didn't qualify that well. Brando is holding on for dear life, but Tude re-overtaking Tom is such a critical thing in this particular race in order to keep TRT's chances alive. I did say Tude needed to step away. A mistake from Tom Roberts may offer the opportunity for Tude to get away, but here it comes, using a little bit of overtake from Brando. Is he going to put any pressure on Tom? I don't think he is. I think his main effort is defending from Luca behind. Tom re-overtakes, and this situation is critical.
Look at the ball! Look at the ball!
Back in front as Gabba getting close!
Oh, Luca Rapata! Luca Rapata makes his own mistake, and in the end, Dan ends up spinning on the inside curve. I'm not sure if there was a little bit of contact, actually, on Dan on the back of Brando, potentially. But now, as a result, 2D attacks Tom Roberts again. Goes for the move into turn number 9. Job done for them. Roll call, by the way, as it stands, as people up and down the field jump in position. So I'll run through quick. 2D out on top. Tom Roberts in 2nd, Brando in 3rd, then it's Gabor, Luca Rapata, Dan, Matteo, Owen, Belby, Finley, who was still yet to come in the pit lane, rounding off the top 10. Tech getting the move done on Rayen in towards turn number 9. He's through, he's into 11. Rayen in 12th, then it's Gatkowski, Justin, Thomas Covers, Furious, Sam, Jesdal, Liam Bowman, round off the top 19. My name is James Head. Jota, of course, alongside me in the commentary box, as always. George Ansell saying in the chat as well, he is sick right now, so get well soon, George. Hopefully we do see you part of the EVE team moving forward here, as we have seen you in EML in other team events as well. But 2D out on top, Tom Roberts in 2nd, halfway through the race now, and probably the best part of the race is still to come, because the front runners are still yet to come in the pits.
Yeah, of course, they're going to be moving over to the medium or the soft tyre. Typically, it should be the medium in this circumstance. Gatkowski, fastest lap of this race, and will count as well, being in the top 13 of this race. Tom Roberts will then re-overtake TRT Tudy, no issue whatsoever. But it's so critical for Tudy to stay in front if they want to have any possibility of taking big points. As I've said, Brando, to be fair, despite all of what's been happening, staying in P3 is beyond a miracle with the amount of front wing damage that he's got on that car at the moment. It's critical Tudy gets in front of Tom Roberts, otherwise Shazoo will very happily steamroll away. And there is exactly what's happened. Tom Roberts would be wise not to make the move on the first DRS straight and wait for the second.
Yeah, definitely so. 2D through on Tom Roberts into the race lead he goes. The Romanian now ahead of the Brit, and now Brando in behind the Italian. We're going to try and somehow muster up a TRT second half masterclass, as they might show here. What I will say though, ET8 are coming into this. Owen and Matteo have gained 0.6 of a second on the last couple of laps, last 2 or 3 laps, on the back of Dan and Luca Rapata. There's more corners around this track than there is straight. Of course, there are DRS zones around this track, but Owen and Matteo are working very well together, dragging Belby, dragging Finley with them as well. I know that 2.1 second gap is a very big gap to try and knock down before the pit lane, before the pit stops happen. But the way these guys are going about things and the way they're chopping and changing positions, I wouldn't be surprised if ET8 are in this going into the pit stops.
Potentially. I mean, they are now really getting quite close, and obviously with the front 6 tripping over each other as well. Of course, remember, Dan having the collisions with Luca and Gabba now introducing himself back into this race as well, means that they are now getting closer. Gabba! Oh, colliding ever so slightly into the back of Brando. Again, this is what I mean. They're tripping over each other, and that's allowing ETA to slowly climb up the ranking. Matteo is in 7th. Is there a last to first challenge potentially on the cards? Tom Roberts has done exactly as I thought he would. He's waited and now re-overtakes Tude. And is he now going to start pulling away? And is TRT Tude going to prioritise himself or his teammate with that rear wing, with that front wing damage?
Honestly, could they split the strategy and then go on a set of mediums now and try and get to the end of the race, I think it's going to be too early. But I just get the impression one of the TRT boys is going to do that. We'll see. Now coming through the right-hander of turn number 15 even. None of them coming in the pit lane just yet. So still a little bit too early for them to come in the pit lane. Look at the gap though. Matteo, 1.7 seconds. That gap has closed 0.4 of a second in the last lap alone. So Matteo and Owen, they close at the rate of knots right now. Dan, Luke Rapata, and Gabor just fall over each other and don't do anything. ET8 are going to be on the back of this train before the pit stops happen in 2 or 3 laps' time. So this is crucial, not only for ET8, not only for Matteo and Owen, but also for Belby and Finley. Both EVE drivers had qualifying bans, and they potentially could be reaping big rewards toward the end of the session. Here comes Tootie for the race lead on the back of Tom, easing past and sauntering past the Brit, getting the job done. He's through back into the race lead. But Tootie, does he really want to be there? Probably not.
Poor mistake there from the... That's from the guys. Again, a gas with a mistake from Owen. Actually making a mistake there, going for the move around the outside line to give the DRS, of course, to his teammate. But Owen ended up having a massive rear end lock up and a tag slapper, well caught, but then it causes Matteo to lose time. It was 1.8, it's now 2.4. Very poorly executed from the ET8 guys, who have been immaculate throughout this race. Are we starting to see them realise, oh God, we've got a potential for some good points here, and now they're feeling the pressure.
They might be feeling the pressure indeed, and look at Brando now, losing touch on the back of Brando, and he's in the pits. Brando is in, Gabor is in, Luke Rapata in, Dan is in. They're increasingly early into the pit lane, I think. I said around lap 18 or lap 19. I think this is 1 lap earlier than what I would have expected to be there for them to come in the pit lane. So, are they going to make 11 lap all mediums to the end of the race? We saw in the first stint how big and how bad they were in terms of wearing, in terms of the medium compounded tyres. And in the end, Brando has come outside behind Gabor. Gabor is ahead of Brando coming out of the pit lane. That is absolutely huge. Gabor and Brando out of the pit lane. Liam Bowman is getting ahead, coming through the right-hand return number 2, the right-hand return number 3 even right now. Him and Gabor, both side by side, going to prioritise the NVR man. And now Liam Bowman, the Flying Scotsman, is going to cause a little bit of a train delay with Brando and Luke Rapata in behind.
Ooh, right, okay, so this is the next bit now. Are ET8 going to benefit from the medium tyre runners, the fresh medium tyre runners, tripping over each other here as well, I wonder? Liam Bowman is perfectly positioned for Novas to defend from the other medium tyre runners. He will now defend for his life to allow Gabba a big space. There's a little collision from Sam there in that one with Gabba, who's trying to now get past Jeslar as quickly as he possibly can. Liam Bowman is going to effectively act as a complete blockade for all of the medium tyre runners, and that is perfect for Gabba, who's now getting a big gap around the outside line. Brando will go, but look, he's caught by Sam. Fantastic racing here, and fantastically placed by Novus Racing.
Oh, and Jeslar is right in the mix of this as well. Liam Bowman on the outside line. This is 2x2x2 in toward Abu Dhabi, in toward the chicane, and Sam is all out of control. The FRT man somehow recovers that car. Luke Rapata is now getting ahead as well. Sam loses about 3 or 4 positions there in the price of 1 lap, and now, as a result, ET8 realise they're not deciding to come in the pit lane. Maybe they're going set of softs towards the end of the race. Tootie and Tom Roberts, though, out of the pit lane. This is crucial for where they come out on track. They're coming out right in the middle of this pack. Tootie and Tom Roberts are side by side with Jeslar coming out of the pit lane. There's Jeslar. There's Tom Roberts. Oh, my God. Tootie nearly comes across there on the back of Jeslar coming out of the pit lane. And in the end, Tom Roberts has to sit in behind. By the way, in all of this, Tech is currently the net leader of this race from Rienne, and they are 2.4 seconds clear of Justin, Furious and Gatkowski out in front of this race. So if the medium runners have got any chance to close in, now is the time to do it. Do not sit back on your laurels, because the next 10 laps are crucial for this Grand Prix. Oh, and there's contact between Liam Bowman and Brando.
Contact between... Yeah, they've got to keep fighting here as well. We've got fighting happening between Yoan and Belby at the moment. The EVE driver, Matteo, has got to take the opportunity and pit now.
Inside of each other.
They're flying out there. This is getting really, really intense. Matteo has got to pit. If they're going to do it, they've got to do it now. Otherwise, they have to go on the alternate strategy and go on the softs. Are they going to pit Matteo? They certainly are. They've got no choice.
Belby's into the pit lane as well, right in behind, both in very similar looking liveries, by the way. Coming in the pit lane, Matteo and Belby, but they are into the pit lane nonetheless. They both don't share the same pit garage, which is good, and because of the shenanigans that we saw between Brando and Liam Bowman and them being inside of each other, they're going to come out right in the middle of this pack as well, coming out of the pit lane. So Matteo into the pit lane, forfeiting the time.
Yeah.
He's going to be on the fresher mediums toward the end of the race, but is it going to be too little too late? Is he going to be behind Dan coming out the pit lane? Yes, he is. If you are Owen right now, you are completely and utterly screwed. I will just put it that way right now. They're going to be down at the back end of the field. They're going to be on the fresher mediums. Whether or not those fresher mediums can come into play is a different thing. I'm looking at Gabor, though, in 8th position, as Justin goes for the move on Furious, I think, just ahead. Gabor, there in 8th position, has already caught the back of the Thomas Covers, Gatkowski, Furious, Justin train, and he's only 3 seconds off Rayan Tech for the net race lead. So Gabor, if anything is to go by, watch his progress for the set of mediums as Thomas Covers moves out the way, doesn't want anything to do with NVR Gabor, and Gabor now through, and he's into P7, coming into turn 9, and he actually makes contact with the back bit of Gatkowski on the rear end, now around the outside into the triple right, and in the end, the mediums coming into play. Gabor is through, and he's into 6th. He is carving his way through the field.
Oh, crikey, and just right on cue. I think Owen has just got a puncture on the rear right tyre as he's just come into the pit lane. So that couldn't have been perfected in that. I'm not sure. He'd have really looked unstable going into the pit lane. Either way, he's in the pit lane getting rid of those hard tyres, moving over to a medium. Tech now leads this race. Remember, 10-lap-old hard tyres. Gabba is flying on these mediums, trying to put Justin under pressure. TTM Furious will be happy with P3, but is he going to hold on? I don't think so at the moment. But the massive gap between Gabba and the rest of the medium tyre runners. Late on the brakes down the inside line from Gabba. Gets the move done, and he's going to look potentially for a move against Furious.
And now Justin's actually coming back at Gabor, running down the straight, and it could be 3 wide here. Down the straight, in towards turn number 3. In all of this, Rayan overtakes Tech for that race lead. Look at Justin on the back of Gabor. Furious now has to try and get the block on to the inside line. NVR man tries to find a way through. Thomas Covers way late on the brakes there. Nearly loses carbon fibre off his right tail end plate. And now, as a result, Tom Robertson to play on the back of Gatkowski. It's now all hell for leather here on lap 21 out of 29, but still 8 laps to go after this. Do not think about tuning out right now. Keep on tuning in. Tech leads the way. Rayan in second. Gabor, though, is now out in the clear. Just how quick can he close on that gap? 2D around the outside of Gatkowski, by the way. Lovely move from him. Right around the outside of turn number 11. He's through, he's into 8th position. Tech leading the way. Rayan in second. Gabor there in third. Gabor, 2.3 seconds. How quickly is that gap going to close for a second?
Trashy has fallen on its backside at the moment for ET8. Matteo down in 14th at the moment, and his teammate Owen all the way down at the back in 19th place at the moment. But Tech and Justin for BRT 1st and 5th respectively. Novus have got Gabba in 3rd with 2 seconds the gap. He will catch up quickly as Finley gets a time penalty for multiple warnings. Keep a firm eye on Tudy, though. He's a man on a mission now after all of that pit stop palaver. Straight down the inside line as we've got more battle happening with Tom up in 5th. Judy makes it to 7th, and BRT are down to 6th.
Yeah, and that's a double whammy there. Beautiful move by both of them in the end. Gabor there now under pressure from Furious. Furious now under pressure from Tom Roberts. Tom flies past him. Now in towards the left-hand return number 5 and 6. Is normality eventually going to resume over this race? Probably not. Rayan leads the way. Tech there in second. They are hanging on to the end on that sort of hard compound of tyres. They are working together pretty well, I've got to say, as well right now. Forfeiting each other's team advantage rather than work for themselves. That's what we like to see here in Lakes Division. When the opportunity progresses for Tech and Rayan to try and get a race result, they are going to try and go for that. But my reckoning is Gabor still there in P3. To think as well, actually, he got contacted by Brando earlier on in the race and was down in P7, and he's now in a net P3, going for a race lead. Gabor has shown ultimate maturity, I think, to get to P3 right now.
Yeah, he's managed the race really well, even after the collision with Brando, and he's obviously paid the price, Brando, because he's had to change his front wing, and now he's down all the way in 11th place in the lower scoring positions. TRT's 1-2 is currently a 6-11. It's awful pit stop strategy at the moment for TRT, and it's been managed so well by Novus as well, and fair play to Liam Bowman. Pitted absolute to perfection and got the team. Almost sacrificed Liam Bowman to effectively give Gabba the advantage that he needs right now to stay within touching distance at the front two. The issue is Tom Roberts is very, very close, and in fact, putting pressure, but he's going to elect to learn from the mistakes of TRT Racing and stay behind as Justin getting close to Tootie as well on the old hard tyre.
Why did he not go for that? He's on the back of Tootie and going to get a 2-for-1 down in towards turn number 5. Disappointed in the BRT, man. Tom Roberts now on the back of Gabor, right around the outside. Job done for him. Beautiful helicopter cam. We'll try and pick up on board with these guys in behind as well. As Luke Rapata looks 3 wide. It's 3 wide once again. It's like last night in Qatar. And Luke Rapata, what a move that is by Luke Rapata. He did it again. He did it from Qatar last night in PSGL. Now he does it again in Abu Dhabi. He loves these Middle Eastern tracks. Thomas Covers now down, undercover in P9. Furious there down in P10. He'd be furious at that one. TTM would be furious with that one. Luke Rapata, absolute sublime by the PSGL PSF1 champion.
Yeah, he's pinned up, I think, a couple of clicks on the front wing as well because he's turning in and the car is just on rails at the moment going through these corners. So he's got so much confidence out there and he will find definitely more positions than just 8 as it stands so far. Just as an FYI, by the way, Tom is just about getting into the DRS territory. I think he'll just miss it on this occasion.
He's in.
The front 2. Gabba is getting close. Will he have DRS on this occasion? He will not. But Gabba will do. And they are now within DRS of the front 2, who are continuously changing positions and tripping over each other. Who is going to be the victor in this race as Gabba goes down the outside and gets down the inside line of Tom on this occasion? Will it be TF10? Will it be BRT? Will it be Novus? Will it be Shazoo? Or will it even be TRT?
This is absolute madness out on track. The BRT man of Tech now takes the race lead once again. Rayen in second. But now, medium runners assembled. Gabor and Tom Roberts, 3rd and 4th position, right on the back of the front train. We have still got 5 laps to go in this race. You predicted 1 safety car. By God, we are not getting that right now because this race is absolutely unbelievable. Tech leading the way. Rayen in second, Gabor in 3rd. Watch out for Tootie. He's now got the clear air. He's now going to close in on the back of Tom, on the back of Gabor. They're not going to do anything in 3rd and 4th. So I think Tootie there in 5th. And even, hell, I'm going to go Luke Rapata as well. 7th position. Down there in P7. On the back of Justin. Justin's hard to hanging in there very well indeed. But Luke Rapata, without that penalty, he gets that removed. He potentially could be on for a net P5, potentially out on track. But Rayen makes a mistake. Tech now trying to pressurise Rayen into a mistake behind him. But Gabor there, Tom Roberts, 3rd and 4th position. Are we going to see anything happen down the straight in toward the left-hand of turn number 6 and 7? I think not. I think everything is just going to calm down somewhat. Is Justin going to get close to the back of Tootie? No. Matteo, though, is, along with Owen and along with Finley. So Matteo through on Furious very late on the brakes in toward the chicane there. Brando's got that damage ahead as well, so the Italian stallion has got to try and rev up his own horse for this move. On the back of Brando, the 2 Italians now going to go side by side. Brando gets out of the way. It is pure Italian utteration from Matteo. He's thrown his into 10th. Brando there in P11, and now Matteo can focus on trying to close in on the front guys. We've still got 4 laps to go.
Yeah, there may be a 5th place finish on the occasion for Matteo if he keeps his nose clean. Of course, those in front with those time penalties means that there's an opportunity potentially, but he just needs to get close to the back of TRT Tootie, who's flying high at the moment with the likes of Tom and Gabba. This is where we're going to start to see, I think, now people play DRS. Strange. Oh, Rayen's got massive issues at the moment with the internet. Looks like a bit of a connection lagging spike. Hopefully it's not going to be too much of an issue throughout this race. Owen gets a 3-second time penalty. He's in 13th at the moment, maybe out of the points as a result.
Yep, 3-second penalty, by the way, just flicking on board with that one. We've got a little bit of stability in this race. Justin on 3, Luke Rapata on 3, Thomas Covers on 3, Owen on 3, Finley on 3, Sam on 3. Here's Gabor on the back of Rayen, looking for the race lead, goes 3 wide down the straight, and Gabor absolutely flies past them, down into the braking zone, in towards turn number 7. Slight lag there from Rayen and Tech, but Gabor is through into the race lead. Maturity at its finest. Rayen has got right to end plate damage, I've just noticed on that car as well, so he's there there in second, and now Tom Roberts on the back of Tech. Is he going to do the ultimate Techers to the inside line?
Well.
In towards turn number 9, Rayen on the inside line, and Gabor as well, 2 by 2. Noah's Ark, nobody wants the lead. Nobody wants the lead. Rayen and Gabor lead the way. Tom has to go for third. Tootie, Justin, Luke Patrick, and that elbows out and behind as well. Gabor now leads. Rayen in second. Tom to the inside line. Turn number 12. Oh. Are you mad, bro? Through and he's into third. Ultimate Techers on Tech from Tom Roberts. He's through and he's into third.
He was within 5 corners leading this race, and now he's in 4th and off the podium, is Tech. He'd be absolutely fuming, but it's fantastic racing from our perspective at the moment. 3 laps to go, including this one. And at the moment, Gabba is taking that race victory on the fresh medium tyre. He just needs to maintain the race. The issue is, as Rayen has managed his ERS to absolute perfection. 90% ERS versus 55 for Gabba and 73 for Tom Roberts. So Gabba has pushed a little bit harder. Oh, it's a mistake. He's made a mistake with the losing of the rear end ever so slightly, and a rear end lockup for Gabba. That may offer an opportunity for Rayen, who's now in hot lap mode.
And Tom Roberts, put it this way, is the man you want to be right now in P3, the box seat in the house, that everyone is just going to fall over each other. Gabor and Rayen do not want to lead going on to the final 2 laps of this race, and hell, not even going on to the final lap of the race as well. But this is absolutely unbelievable. Gabor leading the way, Rayen in second, Tom Roberts in third, Tech there down to 4th, Tootie, Justin, Luke Rapata. Here comes on to the inside on, and Luke Rapata, the ex-PSF1 champions make contact. Matteo, Luke Rapata, former against current PSGL PSF1 champions, make contact in towards turn number 9. Matteo escapes that barely without a front wing intact.
Oh,
Luke Rapata there in 8th. He has got right side end plate damage on that car, but Matteo locked up right on the back of Luke Rapata. It's the case of, should Matteo have gone for that? Probably not.
That's 2 champions knowing the limits and going over. And that's what you would expect from 2 champions. Fantastic. Not good for Matteo, though. He wants to be in the top 5. He might have just cost himself that opportunity. He stays within DRS of Justin, though. He will get 6th place based off of the issue with the penalties. 10-second penalty for Jesler because he is now retiring. I think Liam Bowman also retiring from this race. 1 lap to go. Round the outside from Judy. Won't have the position. Justin will hold on for dear life. Gabba is going to hold on for dear life. Everyone is holding on for dear life. I'm holding on for dear life. James, are you holding on for dear life? This is fantastic.
P13, there's 3 wide, nearly down the straight. Rayen lagging again. Goes to the inside line. Gabor. Tom Roberts is going to have to do well. There's contact in behind as well. Tech run on the back of these guys as well, but Gabor leading the way. Rayen in second. Thomas Covers is round in the background, I think, as well.
Oh, look at the chicane.
And now Tech is coming out of nowhere. It's going to be 4 wide, is it? Down the straight.
Oh,
Tech
my goodness
me. Around the outside, trying to go for both of them. Tech to the inside line now at turn number 9. It's 2 by 2 as we come through Noah's Ark formation. Now Tech losing control of the car. Justin and Tootie are right involved in this as well. And we still got 1 more lap to go. Rayen leads the way. Gabor in second. Tom Roberts there in third. Please, guys, calm down for the sake of our voices and for the sake of everyone here at home who are having heart attacks right now. Rayen leading the way. Gabor there in second. Tom Roberts there in third. Has Rayen trying to go for a break of glory. Matteo to the inside on, and Tech doesn't get the move done. Luke Rapata running behind as well. But final lap of the race. Final tour here in Abu Dhabi. Rayen leads the way. Gabor there in second. Rayen tries to make his bid for glory for Team TF10. Can Gabor follow in the footsteps, though, and get the better ERS? Currently, Rayen's got 18% more than Gabor. Tom Roberts has got more than Gabor as well, and he's got 25%, I think I'll make that out as, in terms of ERS. So he's the one to...
Oh, Gabba's done for.
Is it going to be 2 in a night? Gabor looks done for, but watch out for Tom Roberts. He's going to go for the move in towards turn number 9. Gabor will also go for the move on Rayen. This is all going to come down to who wants it most. Rayen locked up there in the front of the field. Gabor in second. Third. Tom Roberts a bit shoddy coming out of the corner. Now he's got the extra ERS. Has he got the extra toe? Is he going to go for the move?
No.
The line, middle of the pack. Nearly goes for the move. There's contact, and Tom Roberts.
My goodness me, Justin!
And Rayen and side by side. Justin still involved in this race as well. Gabor leading the way. Rayen in second. Tom in third. Is Gabor somehow going to get this? Rayen to the inside line now. As well. Nearly forcing him off track. Tom around the outside on Rayen. Through 13, now through the left-hand return number 14. This is pure madness. Gabor, I think it's getting scot-free. Carbon fibre flies, I think, from Rayen. But now Tom, now coming in toward the final corner and behind. Gabor on the line, wins a classic in Abu Dhabi. Tom Robertson second, Ryan with front wing damage in third, Tootie in fourth. We need a lie down.
Oh, what a shame for the people that towards the back. Mateo held on for dear life, couldn't make it work, finishes in 14th. Gabba takes the race victory. We thought he might have been on it. He certainly was. Shazoo and the TF10 team rounding out the top three, but the top six are all from different teams, as to be expected, all on different strategies. We need a breather.
This is not going to come down to the provisional results, by the way. This will be decided in the steward's room. That is for sure. Kirby saying he's seen a child with better IQ than Tom. That is very unfair, I've got to say. Some of the comments that are going to come through now are probably quite insane. But in the end, Gabor kept his measure, kept his cool. That maturity that he showed halfway through the race, pitting on that set of mediums, carving his way through the field. Ultimate maturity, I've got to say, from the man in P1. And a fantastic win of that, because he absolutely deserves it. NVR deserved their first win of the season. And as I said, they did have one of the strongest lineups coming into tonight. Liam Bowman faltered, but cometh the man, cometh the hour, the ball steps up, and NVR get P1.
Honestly, it was that collision, wasn't it, with Brando and Gabba? I think that was the one that turned it over for TRT. They needed to... Tootie was obviously holding back, helping Brando try and stay within touching distance instead of just steering off and getting out of there. And unfortunately, it's cost TRT dearly with a first and a second, a front row lockout, ending in a fourth and a seventh. But what an effort from Gabba to take that lead.
Yep, Gabor takes the win. Tom Robertson second, Rayen in third, and it's Tootie. Getkowski 14th on the grid up to fifth. Tech, Brando, Furious, Justin Bell, Belby top 10. Run through the rest quickly. Luke Rapata, Owen, Dan, Mateo, Finley, Thomas covers, Sam, Jeslar, Liam Bowman, Barak. Got there in the end with the full 20 out on track. My God, that is pure hell, potentially, from some of the guys out on track. I will see very kindly if the front three do want to try and come in for interviews. While we do that, though...
That's a good idea. Is that a good idea? Let's be honest, it's not a good idea right now. They are having some not so strong banter at the moment that paddock chat. It's they're not happy with some of what we've seen there, but to be fair, that's the racing of being so close with such a limited space from side to side. Brilliant racing nonetheless, but crikey, brilliant. I'm absolutely gobsmacked. One of the best ends to a race I've seen in quite a long time.
Yeah, Tom complaining about Rayen lagging a lot. We certainly picked that up on our end as well. And in the end, Rayen dropping down to P3 in the end. Gabor took that race win. Tom Robertson second, Rayen in third. Tom tried to go for the middle. I think he should have went to the inside line. In towards turn number 9, he would have had a much clearer run coming through the corner. And I think he would have got out on top, coming through the inside line at turn number 9. So if anybody deserved that race win more than anybody, for me, it was Tom, because he had more ERS towards the late stages of the race on Gabor and Rayen. He finished second in the end, but he'd be absolutely ruining himself what could have been a P1 and 2 wins in a row in 2 nights.
Yeah, I mean, it's just absolutely gobsmacked. I'm still just trying to recover from what the hell we've just witnessed. I mean, this is the expectation, unfortunately, of WOR Legacy Division, is that these collisions are going to occur. But that is just a testament to exactly what we saw in qualifying, if you remember, when everyone was getting 21-6s. This is the expectation. Things are going to get so tightly compacted. The top 6 are all from different teams. That is the expectation of WOR Legacy, and we have another 22 rounds to go.
We do indeed, and having a look at the calendar, we're sprinting next week. God help us, it's Singapore.
God help us.
It's Singapore, round number 3 of the championship. Then it's Bahrain, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia to end off the first 6 rounds of the season. Notice how they're all night races as well for the first 6 rounds of the championship. Singapore next week. We saw it in real life. How on earth are we going to cope from Abu Dhabi to Singapore with an extra race involved, with that sprint race, the first of how many we've got? I think 6 this season. So Singapore, it's going to be hell on high water, or it's going to be the best race we may ever see. Singapore does promote a lot of overtaking. I haven't seen it on this game, just yet.
We've got a lot to expect from this game generally anyway, but nonetheless, the drivers have done the best they can with it. That's certainly a fact. of life at the moment with the Legacy division. I don't think it doesn't look like we've got any, but I know we have got Tom in the waiting for interview. So clearly Tom wants to say something, but nonetheless, a very, very good effort from him and the rest of the team at Shazoo, because we wrote them off, didn't we? During qualifying, they just couldn't find any kind of pace out there. But Shazoo have really managed to make that race work for them. And Tom joins us now.
Tom indeed does join us now for the second night in the row. I've got the privilege of interviewing him here tonight in Legacy Division. Tom, P2 out on track. It should have been a P1 if he didn't go partner the Red Sea like Moses into turn 9.
Oh, yeah, I don't know, man. It was definitely a dodgy one. I had the run of, well, a lot of overspeed. Ryan moved late, so I went to the middle, and then the gap closed, and luckily we all survived. But I don't know if I was, at fault for that or not, but we all survived, so yeah, it's good. But if I would have picked the line right, maybe I would have got past into P1, but P2 is still a decent result.
P2 is a fantastic result, given how TTM were further down the field as well in terms of their positions out on track as well. You did end up being a bit like Cameron Dowd, I've got to be honest, because Cameron went for the same move in Qatar last night in PSGL. You went for the same move here tonight. We were talking there in the comment section, in the commentary box there with myself and Jota. You really shouldn't have gone for that move. I was on board with you for that as well, and you shouldn't have gone for that move. You could have easily went to the inside line. If you went to that inside line, do you think you could have got P1?
I don't think there was space on the inside between the wall and his car, to be honest. Before, with the milliseconds I had to make the choice, I would have had to, make such a quick direction change with DRS open. I would have lost a lot of speed as well. Definitely the middle wasn't a viable option unless I watch it back and it's like I was far enough alongside and they just closed the gap on me. But I'm not sure if that's the case. I think if I went the outside though, I would not have kept the position anyway. So it was a pretty one of them. It's just a brick wall in front of me. I'm tried to force my way through, which was obviously a bad decision. Almost died.
Yeah, and I think you went for the outside line, going around into turn 9, 2 or 3 laps before the end of the race as well. And I was thinking, he's going to get the move here. He's going to try and go for the move on the outside line. In the end, you relinquished that position. But in the end, it was a phenomenal fight between you, Ryan, Gabor out on track. It just was the case that Gabor was slightly strong on the day, slightly mature, I think, in terms of the battles that developed out on track as well. But in the end, you should be very, very happy with the P2. Going forward into the rest of the season, even though we're early on in round 2, how good is that for Team Shazoo in terms of the championship going into Singapore?
It's definitely pretty good. It's definitely hasn't been optimal, but at the same time, it hasn't been awful. And with one car in P2, 2 races in a row, if we keep that up along 24 rounds, we should be good to go. But, you never know what will happen in the next 4 months until the end of the season. So, we'll try and carry this momentum into Singapore, which is a track I've not done yet. So I don't know who's driving. But hopefully it goes as well as today, if not better.
Well, I'm certainly expecting at least one Scotsman on the grid next week in Singapore. You'll probably know who I'm on about as well from Team Shazoo regarding that. But I'm going to pass you over to Jota. Any questions?
Yeah, only the one really, because coming off the back of what I think is obviously some pretty substantial changes within Shazoo's roster. We initially was proposing Shazoo. Obviously, I've put you guys as defending your title this season, but there's obviously some challenges you guys are facing, and qualifying is one of them. But the race pace you guys have got is clearly up there. So is qualifying where you guys are going to be prioritizing your development strategy, or are you going to be focusing elsewhere within the team in order to make sure you defend your title?
I think in our team, we do seem to have good race pace. I don't know whether it's because we do quite a lot of race practice as well as the quali practice. Well, we didn't do that much tonight, but in general, we usually do like a quali, then race, quali, then race. But a lot of people just focus on quali. I don't agree with it because, like, as you saw, you can go from P9 to the fight for the lead in any race because it's so crazy on the grids. So definitely focusing on the race because that's where points are scored. As Ron Zeus would say, which he did say to me after I was very disappointed in my quali. So thanks to Ron for inspiring me.
And a big call out there from the team over at Shazoo and a solid P2 from yourself, James.
I never thought I'd hear Ron get shouted out on a WOR Legacy Division stream. That is definitely an inspiration, I think, for all of us that we could take forward from a Team Shazoo's perspective going into next week in Singapore and for the rest of the season. Tom, it wasn't the result that you wanted tonight. P2 out on track. Go and enjoy your evening.
Thank you, guys.
Very welcome indeed. And we are going to try and get Mr. TF10 Shadow and Mr. Rayen in, which might be half French, half English interview, but we're going to try it nonetheless. Let me drag them in. Give me a second. Let's hope both of them are not on PlayStation, first and foremost. Right, there we are. Both of them are now in. And Shadow and Rayen, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
We can hear you indeed. Fantastic stuff. It is a P1, a P1, a P3 even, out on track for TF10 Rayen. Congratulations on the result. How do you think your race went from the perspective of how that entirety of that final 2 laps went? Because it was just pure madness.
So I'm gonna translate to him. Ryan, tu m'entends? Démute-toi. Donc là, en gros, qu'est-ce que tu as pensé de ta course et comment tu as fait pour te maintenir dans les 2 derniers tours?
Hello guys, tu peux répéter s'il te plaît?
Alors, comment tu as vécu ta course et comment tu as pu te maintenir dans les 2 derniers tours?
It was incredible. My strategy was unbelievable. Thanks Shadow for that. And the last comment on dit Shadow?
Les 2 derniers tours, the last 2 laps.
The last 2 laps was so difficult because one, my connection was bad. I don't know why, but my connection was bad, and I panicked. So that's it.
I think we got the gist of that, to be honest, in terms of that from Rayen. P3, of course, out on track. Obviously, fighting with Gabor, fighting with Tom very late on in the race. Didn't have the best of strategies, I've got to be honest, towards the end when we had Tom and Gabor fighting out. But in the end, P3 for Team TF10 must be very, very happy indeed. And I'm sure Shadow will be able to answer that as well.
Yeah, the P3, bro, is unbelievable. In world, the pace is very, very strong. And yeah, the strategy wasn't good for the end of the race. We know that it was very complicated to defend, but Ryan handled it very well. Like he said, he panicked in the final lap, but he did it. And shout out to BRT Tech, who helped us a lot in the strategy because we were only 2 to get the DOS, so that's what helped us. Tu veux rajouter un truc, Ryan?
Yes, I want to say thank you for Shadow for the engineering, and thank you Zach for the setup. He's the goat, and thank you for me for this race.
Now, we love the shout-outs from Team TF10 here in the chat and certainly in the commentary box as well. Jota, for our Anton Cordial interview here tonight. Any questions?
Yeah, only the one question actually about TF10. I don't know whether this one is for Rayan or Shadow, so whichever one of you think it's more appropriate. You guys obviously qualified, I think, as a net P9 in the overall in the standings as the 9th seed team. And you get a podium on the second attempt. So you guys clearly are in a position where 9th place doesn't best reflect what you guys have got in the roster, surely.
We get some very fast drivers in the roster. We're also getting prepared for Singapore and Qatar. In the Q3, the qualification was really difficult because the drivers are very fast from other team. Point 4 in Q3 is very fast, to be honest. And that's a point we have never reached in training in Q3. So in qualifying, it's difficult. We hope for Singapore it's gonna be easier because the track is more difficult. The errors don't forgive. So yeah, we got some good drivers in the roster. Some haven't driven yet, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that they're gonna do the same thing and maybe way better.
Yeah,
No,
very.
cracking stuff.
Go on.
Cracking stuff, isn't it? No, I was just saying it's cracking stuff, isn't it? Though, because I think the complexity of the entire grid this season, James, has made for, this race has left for so much competition between so many different teams. So this is going to be fun. Singapore's no doubt going to be great, but what a great race at Abu Dhabi. Great job on the P3. Rayan, well deserved. And James, I'll leave it you to wrap up, buddy.
Yeah, Rayan, P3 out on track. He's definitely strong around Singapore, if I remember rightly as well. So we might be seeing him there going forward into next week. Go and enjoy your evening, and au revoir.
Au revoir. Thank you, bro.
That's about as much French as I know, I'm sorry.
No problem.
And that is going to wrap us up for tonight. Big thank you to Shadow, big thank you to Rayan, big thank you, of course, to Tom Roberts for the interviews that we had out on track tonight. It was an absolute unbelievable race, I think, out on track. And Jota, I'm going to come across to you. Singapore next week. It is either going to be pure and utter mental racing out on track, like what we saw in Abu Dhabi, or it is just purely going to be a race where a lot of points will definitely get put in, and whether or not we see the likes of Cameron Dowds on the lineup next week remains to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, points are lost very hard at a place like Singapore because, one mistake and you're in a wall. So that may just mix and match the entire grid and really set in motion either a real competition, someone may start to lead away from the pack, or for all we know, it may end up leading into something a little bit more substantial in a new team taking the lead in the championship. Speaking of which, no doubt someone has, or a new team has taken the lead in the championship, because of course the 7-point gap between Shazoo and TTM will have no doubt been swallowed up. Let's have a quick gander actually at the standings, and it looks like to me TTM actually might have just held on to their lead in the championship. We'll get a sense check on that one, but if that is the case, then Monaco just goes to show how powerful that Monaco result was.
Definitely so, and obviously I'm just getting the standings up now, by the way, so I can actually have a look at them myself. Oh, it's just going completely and utterly down. Is that the Legacy Division result? Yeah, TTM, as it stands, all provisional. I may throw out at you as well. All completely provisional. 77 points currently for TTM. Shazoo in second on 71. TRT third on 56. NVR 4th on 48, BRT 5th on 45, CPI 6th on 44, TF10 in 7th on 43. Dirk mentioning that he's got very strong around Singapore, won the GTI event around there a couple of days back. So Rayan looking potentially strong, maybe going into next week if he's there. E8 in 8th on 16, EVE in 9th on 9, and then FRT in 10th on 3 points. That is how the standings are going into next week. All provisional, of course. Steward reports and everything need to be done. Reports need to be filtered in as well. So what we're going to do is go for a lie down, first and foremost, and bid you farewell, because it has been an absolute pleasure to bring you the action here in Abu Dhabi in one of the most mental races I think we've ever witnessed in WOR Legacy Division. Are we going to see more like that in Singapore in a week's time for the sprint and indeed for the feature race? Only time will tell. Do not forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and to tick that notification bell if you're brand new to the channel for next week's action going into Singapore for round number 3 of the championship. I've been James Head. Jot has escaped me, but he's been Jotter nonetheless. Thank you so much for watching. Here, WOR Legacy Division. We'll leave you well with our sponsors, Next Level Racing and Grid Finder. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.